Chapter 504. Following the chatter, figures that could make the starry sky tremble crawled out from the ground of the June family's ancestral hall. The accumulated soil was turned over, and terrifying figures with powerful auras crawled out from the ground. There were men, women, old and young. They all looked different, but without exception, they were all terrifyingly powerful. The weakest among them was a lesser celestial lord. Some of them crawled out from coffins, while others dug out from the soil. All of them were covered in dirt and dust. These were just some of the great ancestors buried in the June family's ancestral hall. There were also some great ancestors and powerhouses of the June family who were sleeping in different places. Some of them were even drifting in the starry sky. But even these great ancestors in the June family's ancestral hall were powerful enough, and there were quite a few of them. 17th ancestor, 15th ancestor, 14th ancestor, 13th ancestor, 12th ancestor, 11th ancestor. When the great ancestors of the June family woke up one by one, all the forces watching from the outside were so shocked that their souls trembled. The horn of extinction of the June family sounded 7 times. Every time the horn was blown, the June family's shocking heritage would be revealed. The third killing formation, the Holy Guard of Heaven, the archaic great evil, the sleeping great ancestors, every single one of their trump cards was enough to make countless great figures feel their scalps go numb. Is this the June family of the primordial era that stood tall in the mystic realm? It is indeed terrifying. Now, the cultivators who thought that the June family would suffer a crushing defeat were speechless at the moment. The corner of the June family's heritage was enough to shock them for many years. At this moment, the awakened great ancestors of the June family walked out of the ancestral hall and met up with the 18th ancestor and the others. "Haha, you guys are awake too." The 18th ancestor smiled faintly. Which idiot dared to provoke the June family? Did he get kicked in the head by a donkey? A gray-haired old man cursed. He was the 17th ancestor, and he had only been asleep for a short time. He wanted to have a long dream, but he was awakened by the horn of extinction. "It's like this." The 18th ancestor briefly explained the situation. "I see." The 17th ancestor and the others nodded slightly. However, the group of great ancestors' eyes fell on Jun Xiaoyao. "Tisk tsk. The June family has a young man with such talent. This is not just the bearing of a great emperor, but the bearing of an immortal, right? You want to kill the Qilin son of the June family? That Archean royalty is simply courting death." These patriarchs surrounded Jun Xiaoyao with satisfied looks on their faces. Xiaoyao greets the ancestors. Jun Xiaoyao cupped his hands in greeting, feeling slightly embarrassed. He felt like an animal in a zoo, surrounded by people. "Don't worry. Our June family has seen a lot of these small waves. What can the 7 immortal forces do to our June family?" The 17th ancestor patted Jun Xiaoyao's shoulder. "Since you're already awake, let's teach the Archean royalty a lesson." The great ancestors of the June family had cold looks on their faces. The ancestors of the June family woke up from their deep slumber. The allied forces of the Archean royalty had also arrived at the periphery of Emperor State. The third Archean killing formation? Longhan Supreme of the lair of Zulong had a solemn look in his eyes. The third Archean killing formation was ferocious. Even if it was him, if he were to recklessly step in and be attacked by the killing array, only death awaited him. However, this time, the 7 immortal forces had joined forces to attack. Even the third killing formation could not stop them. Form the 9 luminaries' heavenly dragon formation. As soon as Long Han's voice fell, hundreds of dragon saints formed formation seals. At the same time, the ancestors of Zulong also formed formation seals. The shadows of 9 dragons appeared in the sky, roaring and shaking as if they could make the heavens tremble. The 9 luminaries' heavenly dragon formation was also an extremely terrifying formation. Although it was not as good as the third Archean killing formation, it was still one of the top formations that Zulong could bring out. Zulong's team rushed into the Emperor State with the 9 Luminaries' Heavenly Dragon formation. At the same time, the Wanhuang Spirit Mountain, the ancient Qilin Cave, and the ancient Crocodile Lake all formed their own terrifying formations to resist the third Archean killing formation. Just as the 4 immortal forces of the Archean royalty stepped into the Emperor State, the third killing formation began to boil. The third killing formation began to boil. Countless terrifying rays of light appeared in the sky. This scene was simply like a raging tide that wanted to destroy the world, wanting to destroy the heavens and the earth. Rumble! The third killing formation activated, and endless killing lights filled the sky. Mountains collapsed and the earth caved in. As for the living beings of the Emperor State, most of them had already entered the Jun family's settlement, so they would not be harmed by the third killing formation. Even though the 4 immortal forces of the Archean royalty had the support of the venerable Archean ancestors, and the vast formation's defense, the third killing formation was still not enough. In the face of the third most terrifying killing formation in history, large numbers of primordial creatures still fell. Blood splattered across the sky, and the entire Emperor's State was covered in a bloody mist. Kill. Today we swear to destroy the Jun family. If the Jun family is not destroyed, the Archean royalty will never have peace. Although countless primordial creatures had fallen in the third killing formation, the remaining primordial creatures were still alive. However, the rest of the far ancient royal family were still very hot-blooded. They roared into the sky, their battle intent soaring to the heavens. Moreover, the 4 immortal forces of the Archean royalty weren't the only ones attacking. The Demon Ox Mountain, the Cave of Coiling Silk, the Snake Emperor Valley, and hundreds of other primordial royal families also brought hundreds of millions of troops and charged toward the Jun family's ancestral land along with the Archean royalty. They really do have some guts. Seeing the roaring Archean royalty, some of the ancestors of the Jun family who had just awakened had contemptuous smiles on their faces. If that's the case, then let's make them understand what reality is. The 17th ancestor shook his head and smiled. In the Jun family's ancestral land, the various armies had also been reorganized. Jun Wui stood in the void with his hands behind his back and said coldly, "The Jun family points its sword at the world. Those who offend the Jun family will be killed, no matter how far away they are." As soon as he finished speaking, millions of armored horses stepped into the sky. The 4 forces of the wind, forest, fire, and mountain forces turned into 4 torrents and rolled forward. The elders of the Jun family also came out one by one. Their eyes were filled with coldness, and a cold light was emitted from them. The Gantian sacred guards also stepped into the sky under the command of 5 quasi-supreme martial artists. War horses neighed, ancient beasts roared, and heaven and earth shook. The 2 ancient war beasts, Qiongqi and Zhuyan, also set out with the Gantian sacred guards. In addition, countless vassal forces of the Jun family also led hundreds of millions of troops and followed. "Let's go meet them," the 16th ancestor said. The other ancestors of the Jun family nodded. "Then I'll hold back, just in case," the 18th ancestor said. However, the other ancestors knew that the 18th ancestor was specifically following Jun Xiaoyao to protect him from being threatened by the Archean royalty. Kill! The 7 ancestors of the Jun family stepped into the sky, the might of the Supremes shaking the world. Just as the Jun family moved out, on the other side, the forces of the Archean royalty finally saw the location of the Jun family. Kill! Leave no one in the Jun family alive. Supremacy, Long Han roared. This was the best opportunity to destroy the Jun family, so they naturally wouldn't miss it. If they missed this opportunity, it would be almost impossible to unite all the immortal forces to deal with the Jun family again. Therefore, this time, even if they had to pay the price in blood, They had to take advantage of this opportunity to destroy the June family. Chapter 505. The army of the June family finally clashed with the army of the Archean royalty. Angry shouts and battle cries reverberated throughout the heavens and the earth. The four armies of the wind, forest, fire, and mountain turned into four torrents and clashed with the army of the Archean royalty. The hundreds of millions of troops of the Archean royalty clashed with the countless subordinate forces of the June family. It was an apocalyptic battle with billions of lives lost, and the sound of killing shook the entire Huangtian mystic realm. The battle had only been going on for a quarter of an hour, but the blood that was spilled had already converged into a river, meandering across the land of the Emperor's state. Many mountains had collapsed, and the earth had sunk. The immortal war had begun, and soldiers were fighting soldiers, generals were fighting generals. It was not just the armies that were crushing each other. Some quasi-sages and saints also began to fight each other. As for the more powerful supremes, they stood high above the 9 heavens and fought among the stars in the universe. In the eyes of the supremes, the stars were like toys that were casually thrown away and annihilated. The great ancestors of the June family were also serious. They raised their hands, and the vigorous laws intertwined, destroying thousands of miles of the void. Eminent, these great ancestors of the June family are really difficult to deal with. Long Han and the others looked grim. Although the four immortal forces combined were more than the June family in terms of numbers. However, the great ancestors of the June family were all very powerful. They could cut down the Milky Way and destroy stars with a single hand. What he's using seems to be a terrifying ancient technique from a certain era. What kind of supreme secret technique is this? The techniques used by the great ancestors of the June family even stunned some of the supremes on the Archean royalty's side. Some of the great ancestors of the June family had been sleeping for too long, and most people would not be able to recognize them when they used the techniques of their era. However, the power was so terrifying that it seemed to be able to cut through time and space. Soon, there were supremes who were bleeding. The 14th great ancestor seized the opportunity to shatter the physical body of a Zulong supremes with a single palm strike, and then the primordial spirit of the supremes was also destroyed. On the other side, a supreme's ancient ancestor of the Wanhuang spirit mountain was cut in half by the 12th great ancestor of the June family. Originally, supreme being experts had extremely strong recovery abilities. Even if their physical bodies were shattered, they could still recover in an extremely short period of time. However, the 12th ancestor's slash seemed to contain a destructive law. The ancient ancestor of the Wanhuang spirit mountain could not recover at all. The 12th forefather's face was indifferent as he slashed the primordial spirit of the Wanhuang spirit mountain ancestor into nothingness. Then there was the ancient patriarch of the ancient crocodile lake, who fought in his true form. However, the 11th patriarch used a sword to cut open his stomach, causing blood to flow out for millions upon millions of kilometers, dyeing the river of stars red. It could be said that the battle was incomparably tragic. However, this tragedy was mostly caused by the Archean royalty. Regardless of whether it was a battle between armies or supreme being experts, the June family had the upper hand. The four troops of wind, forest, fire, mountain, and forest were extremely valiant. Although they suffered casualties, they caused the enemy to suffer 10 times more casualties. As for the Gantian Mountain Saint Guards, they were even more terrifying. They lost very few people, but everywhere they passed, no one could block them. They were like an invincible spear. However, many forces also knew that the two sides had yet to fully engage in the final battle. Both sides still had trump cards that they had yet to use. However, even so, the battle was already tragic enough. It was especially so in the starry sky above the 9 heavens, where many supreme being great ancestors fought and crushed thousands of stars in the starry sky into powder. The pitch-black space cracks spread everywhere, and the scene was extremely terrifying. If such a battle were to take place in the Huangtian mystic realm, it would definitely sink half of the mystic realm. This is the battle of the immortals. It is indeed a scene that is rarely seen in countless eras. Even with Jun Xiaoyao's calm personality, at this moment, he felt the blood in his body boiling. With a single hand, the universe collapsed and shattered. This was the power of a supreme being. Then, how powerful would a boundary emperor, or even a true great emperor be? What about the legendary immortals, who were illusory and ethereal? At this moment, Jun Xiaoyao also strengthened his belief. He still had a long way to go. Just as Jun Xiaoyao was thinking in his heart, above the 9 heavens, the supreme beings of the Archean royalty surrounded the great ancestors of the Jun family, but they were unable to kill even one of them. On the other hand, the Archean royalty had already lost 5 or 6 supreme being great ancestors. This can't go on. A murderous light flashed in the eyes of Supreme Being Long Han and the others. At this point, there was no turning back. They could only continue to show their strength and kill the great ancestors of the Jun family. Imperial weapon, out! At this moment, Supreme Being Long Han roared into the sky. His voice shook 100,000 miles and shattered the surrounding stars. As his voice spread out, a terrifying aura erupted in the ancestral land of the Zulong in Hong State, and the imperial might rose. A terrifying black gold guillotine rose into the sky. The entire guillotine was very large, and it was made entirely of black dragon-patterned gold. One had to know that the noble Princess Longji had only used a small amount of black dragon-patterned gold to make a small hairpin. But now, this huge guillotine was made entirely of black dragon-patterned gold. The edge of the guillotine was covered with dark mottled blood, as if it was left behind by a demon god. That's Zulong's imperial weapon, the ancestral dragon guillotine. Many forces in the Huangtian mystic realm were shocked. Zulong's imperial weapon, the ancestral dragon guillotine, was definitely an extremely terrifying weapon. It was once wielded by the ancient emperor of Zulong, and it had killed a real great emperor. Generally speaking, the lair of Zulong would not use this emperor weapon until the very last moment. At the same time, when Zulong took out the imperial weapon, imperial might also surged out from the Wanhuang Spirit Mountain. A bright red divine weapon, as bright as blood and as brilliant as gold, rose into the sky. It was shaped like a spear, but there were blades on both sides like a phoenix spreading its wings. It's the imperial weapon of the Wanhuang Spirit Mountain, the phoenix wings gilded with gold. It's made entirely of crimson phoenix blood gold. The imperial weapon of the Wanhuang Spirit Mountain shocked everyone again. At the ancient Qilin cave, purple qi filled the air. In the misty purple qi, a purple gold wheel emerged, as if a purple Qilin was entrenched in a ring. As the wheel spun, it seemed to flow with the profound meaning of life and death, and the void was cut open. It's the ancient Qilin cave's imperial weapon, the Qilin wheel. The Qilin wheel was made entirely of divine mark gold, and there were billions of Qilin clan markings on it. As it spun, the world collapsed. The appearance of the third imperial weapon made all the cultivators a little numb. However, at the ancient Crocodile Lake, another imperial weapon's might erupted. However, this imperial might carried with it a ferocious aura. An imperial weapon that looked like a spiked club rose from the depths of the Great Lake. The imperial weapon was very dark, and the white spikes looked like the teeth of a crocodile. It's the ancient Crocodile Lake's imperial weapon, the barren crocodile's broken tooth. Rumor has it that the spikes on it are the teeth of the crocodile ancestor. Feeling the imperial weapon's ferocious aura, many of the important figures felt their hearts palpitate. The crocodile ancestor was an infamous ancient emperor. He had once created boundless murderous calamities and swallowed an entire starfield in one gulp. Previously, at the ancient Crocodile Lake, a descendant of the crocodile ancestor was born and entered the Emperor Road. At this moment, 4 Archean royalty imperial weapons rose into the sky at the same time. Their might shook the 9 heavens and stirred up endless winds and clouds. Chapter 506. Imperial weapons were the weapons of the great emperors. They possessed endless power. Previously, Jun Xiaoyao had obtained Great Emperor Panwu's weapon, the Coiling Emperor Sword. However, at that time, Jun Xiaoyao's cultivation wasn't high enough. He couldn't use the imperial weapon at all. Now, the 4 imperial weapons of the Archean royalty soared into the sky, their power shaking the 9 heavens. Utmost exalted level experts were already capable of using imperial armaments. It could be said that if 2 supremes of the same level had an imperial weapon, they could definitely crush or even kill the other supremes. No matter how strong the Jun family is, how many imperial weapons do they have? Supremacy Long Han of Zulong shouted coldly. Imperial weapons were extremely rare. Normally, even immortal forces only had one. They were used as the foundation of their family. Even if the Jun family had their own imperial weapons, they only had 2, including the Coiling Emperor Sword that Jun Xiaoyao had found. On the other hand, the Archean royalty had a total of 4 imperial weapons. Supremacy Long Han activated the ancestral dragon chopper. Its power was overwhelming. The other 3 supremes of the Archean royalty also had 3 imperial weapons: the Phoenix Wing Golden Centipede, the Qilin Wheel, and the Wild Alligator's Broken Tooth. All of a sudden, the patriarchs of the Jun family were in danger. Indeed, the patriarchs of the Jun family were stronger and more powerful than the patriarchs of the Archean royalty. However, the difference wasn't that big. The supremes of the Archean royalty had the imperial weapon and turned the tables around. Humph! Do you think the Jun family lacks imperial weapons? 16th Patriarch snorted coldly. He raised his hand and grabbed in the direction of the Jun family. Suddenly, an ancient sword with a peerless sharpness that could cut through everything in the world broke through the air. Around the ancient sword, the shadows of 10,000 spirits appeared and worshipped. An ancient aura filled the air, causing the surrounding space to collapse inch by inch. The sword light illuminated the 9 heavens. It was the imperial weapon, the Coiling Emperor's Sword. With the Coiling Emperor's Sword in hand, the 16th Patriarch's combat strength skyrocketed. The sword light swept across the sky with peerless power. When they saw this scene, Supreme Exalt Long Han and the others weren't surprised. Everyone knew that because of Jun Xiaoyao, the Jun family had obtained the Pan Huang sword of the Panwu Jin dynasty. That's the Pan Huang sword that belongs to my Pan Wu Jin dynasty. Seeing the Pan Huang sword, the Pan Wu Jin dynasty's god Lord Pan Wu's expression became unsightly, turning the color of pig liver. The Jun family was a bandit. Since they had stolen the Pan Huang sword, it was impossible for them to return it. So what if you have the Pan Huang sword? Bring out your Jun family's other imperial weapon. But even so, you only have 2 imperial weapons, Long Han sneered. Ha! How would a frog at the bottom of a well know the depth of my Jun family's resources? The faces of the 17th ancestor and the others were filled with disdain. That kind of feeling was like looking at a country bumpkin. Imperial weapons, attack! The 17th ancestor roared. His voice was like a clap of thunder that resounded for thousands of miles in the sky. At the same time, the Jun family's ancestral temple was filled with a terrifying imperial aura. At that moment, everyone in the Huangtian mystic realm was paying attention. The Jun family definitely had their own imperial weapon, but they had never used it before. That was why many people were curious. Under everyone's gazes, a golden ancient mirror floated into the air. The golden ancient mirror was octagonal, resembling an 8 trigrams array. Runes of the 8 trigrams were engraved around it. The surface of the mirror seemed to contain all living things in the universe: the sun, the moon, the stars, the mountains, the rivers, and the seas. Grass, trees, insects, and fish all seemed to be born and changed within. It was extremely mysterious and magical. With a casual shake of the mirror, a terrifying beam of light shot out, piercing through the void. It seemed to be able to disintegrate all things and turn them into the most primitive particles. That ancient mirror looks like it was forged from the gold of the tribulation of the path. Is that the June family's imperial weapon? It is indeed powerful. Feeling the horror of the ancient golden mirror, many influential figures who were watching the battle from other states took a deep breath. Here comes the heavenly emperor mirror. The 17th ancestor waved his hand, and the heavenly emperor mirror fell into his hand. However, what made everyone feel astonished was that the imperial aura in the June family's ancestral hall had yet to dissipate. Under everyone's shocked gazes, another artifact appeared. It was a golden scroll, which also seemed to be forged from the gold of the tribulation of the path. Flowers of the Tao floated around the scroll, and countless illusory images of mountains and rivers appeared. They looked like dragon veins, and finally gathered within the scroll. That is, the billions of people who were watching the battle in the Huangtian mystic realm were all stunned. Wasn't the June family's imperial weapon the heavenly emperor mirror? What was this scroll that emitted the imperial aura? Earth Emperor's Book, come! The 11th ancestor, who was above the 9 heaven stars, shouted. The Earth Emperor's Book rose into the air, bringing with it the endless power of the earth. The June family has a second imperial weapon, the Earth Emperor's Book. Gasps were heard from all directions. Everyone felt their scalps go numb. Supreme Long Han and the others held their breaths for a moment. However, that was not the end. A third object rose into the air from the June family's ancestral hall. It was a brush, and the body of the brush was also forged from the gold of the tribulation of the path. As the tip of the brush moved, it carried with it a great spirit. Emperor Brush, come! The 12th ancestor stretched out his hand, and the Emperor Brush rose into the air again. Dumbfounded. Everyone was dumbfounded. Damn it, the June family has 3 imperial weapons? Terrifying, this is too terrifying. Even an immortal force can't take out 3 imperial weapons at the same time. Countless old antiques who were watching the show were shocked. Their minds were shaken, and they seemed to have been petrified. That foundation was simply incredible. Even the spectators were shocked. Long Han and the others were even more shocked. Even with their temperament, they were shocked to the point of numbness. A chill ran down their spines. The heavenly emperor mirror, the Earth Emperor's Book, the Emperor Brush, and the coiling Emperor Sword. The number of imperial weapons the June family had was comparable to the number of imperial weapons they had in the Archean royalty. This was King ridiculous. Many people from the immortal forces were exclaiming. No wonder the June family said that they were the 8th most incredible force. This time it really is incredible. Just as the spectators were exclaiming above the 9 heavens, the battle broke out again. Unlike before, 8 imperial weapons joined the battle this time. The fluctuations were indescribable, as if the world was about to be destroyed. Tens of thousands of stars were shattered by the might of the imperial weapons in an instant. Cracks in space spread for hundreds of millions of miles. The 16th ancestor held the Emperor's sword in his hand and slashed. The sword light fell and cut the Milky Way in half. What was even more shocking was that the June family's 3 imperial weapons, the Heavenly Emperor Mirror, the Earth Emperor's Book, and the Emperor Brush, could vaguely enhance each other. That aura was comparable to that of a supreme immortal artifact. These 3 imperial weapons were originally a set, and they were collectively known as the 3 imperial weapons. Their auras were connected, and when stacked together, their power increased exponentially. They were enough to suppress ordinary imperial weapons. Damn it! Long Han and the others were beaten until they coughed up blood and retreated. In just a quarter of an hour, a few more Supremes had fallen at the hands of the 3 imperial weapons. If this continued, how could they withstand it? Wang family, holy sect, fallen god palace, if you don't make a move today, you won't have another chance. Long Han shouted. This time, everyone suddenly came to their senses. The June family's opponent wasn't just the Archean royalty. There were also 3 immortal forces that had declared war. Hearing Long Han's angry shout, the Holy Sect's sacred leader, Wang Yuanba of the Wang family, an ancestor Sha of the fallen God Palace, had a tacit understanding. Mobilize the troops. We must destroy the June family in this battle. The 3 immortal forces once again participated in the immortal war. Leisurely literature, let the soul travel. Chapter 507. To be honest, the June family's performance in this immortal battle had indeed shocked all the forces in the Huangtian mystic realm. At first, everyone thought that the June family might not be able to withstand the 4 Archean royalty alone. But what was the result? First, the ancestors of the June family woke up, and then the 4 imperial weapons appeared. It could be said that the June family's foundation had shocked everyone. The June family was indeed worthy of being one of the 3 imperial families of the Huangtian mystic realm. They were indeed qualified to be called the 8th most incredible family. But now, everyone felt that the June family's resources were almost all gone. The powerhouses who should have awakened had awakened. The imperial weapons that should have been used had been used. The 3rd killing formation had been operating. Under such circumstances, the fact that the June family could withstand the 4 Archean royalty and gain the upper hand was enough to shock the mystic realm for billions of years. But now, another 3 immortal forces were attacking the June family in the Emperor state. This was equivalent to wiping out the June family's advantage again. Not only that, the June family seemed to have no extra strength to deal with the 3 immortal forces. Sigh, what a pity, what a pity. I've finally seen the June family's strength today. The June family, as an immortal force, can withstand the 4 Archean royalty alone. It's already terrifying enough. But there are 7 immortal forces that have declared war on the June family. Many forces sighed when they saw this scene. The June family's performance had exceeded everyone's expectations. But there were 7 immortal forces that wanted the June family dead. The June family was outnumbered. It was impossible for them to survive alone. At this moment, on the Jiang family's side, even Jiang Daoshu frowned slightly. To be honest, the June family did not seem to have extra strength to deal with the 3 immortal forces now. Jiang Daoshu ordered, "Pass down my order. The Jiang family's army is to prepare for war. Be ready to move out at any time." At this moment, the huge Jiang family began to operate secretly. Many members of the Jiang family gathered. Some of the Jiang family's supreme grand ancestors also gathered. Oh, is the Jiang family going to make a move? Seeing the Jiang family's movement in the Qing state, many big shots were surprised. If the Jiang family made a move, the June family might really be able to overcome this crisis and make history. At the same time, the Wang family, the Holy Sect, and the fallen God Palace entered the Emperor state. The moment they entered, they were attacked by the 3rd killing formation. The cultivators of the 3 factions were cut down like weed. Even so, the 3 immortal forces did not stop and continued to advance toward the June family. As for the 4 elements as well as the Gantian Saint Guards, they were all held up by the Archean royalty and were unable to assist. Roar! Qiongqi and Zhuyan, the 2 great ancient beasts, roared and charged at the 3 immortal forces. The Qiongqi opened its mouth and roared. Boundless dark flames surged into the sky as if they wanted to burn the entire world. On the other hand, Zhu Yan's body was as massive as an ancient demonic mountain. As his feet trembled, the ground cracked. "Humph, evil creature, let me have a taste of you." A paragon old ancestor from the Wang family made a move. Within the Saint sect, there were also 2 supreme guardians who appeared to resist. 2 primordial great ferocious beasts were unable to stop the 3 imperishable forces. Everyone's eyes fell on the June family as they watched the 3 immortal forces march in. There was only one 18th ancestor on the June family's side. How could he stop them? At this moment, in the June family, the 18th ancestor stood indifferently in the void, looking at the three immortal forces that were about to arrive. Jun Xiaoyao stood beside the 18th ancestor with his hands behind his back. He also had a calm expression on his face. The others, such as Wang Chuan, Jun Linglong, Jun Ying'er, Nalan Ruoshi, and the others, did not have a trace of fear on their faces. They were willing to live and die with the Jun family. Xiaoyao, are you afraid? The 18th ancestor smiled. Afraid? Jun Xiaoyao narrowed his eyes and said, May I ask, old ancestor, how do you spell the word afraid? The 18th ancestor heard this and laughed. Good, good. You are indeed the future pillar of the Jun family. You are able to remain calm in front of the three armies. The 18th ancestor was very satisfied with Jun Xiaoyao. At this moment Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed and said, Old ancestor, Xiaoyao has a presumptuous request. The 18th ancestor's eyes flashed. What kind of request would Jun Xiaoyao make at a time like this? Xiaoyao wants to fight the three immortal forces alone, Jun Xiaoyao said indifferently. What? This request stunned the 18th ancestor. He thought that he had misheard. Xiaoyao, could it be that I'm hallucinating? 18th ancestor could not believe his ears. Xiaoyao wants to fight the three immortal forces alone. Jun Xiaoyao repeated. Xiaoyao, you have the potential to prove your way and become an emperor, or even immortal. I am not worried about your future, but now what he meant was that although Jun Xiaoyao was now a saint, he could not influence an immortal war. Jun Xiaoyao said, Old ancestor, you should know that Xiaoyao has never played with his life. Looking at the determination in Jun Xiaoyao's eyes, the 18th ancestor hesitated. He then remembered that Jun Xiaoyao had the ability to come out of the bronze immortal palace safely. Could it be? The 18th ancestor thought of a certain possibility, and his eyes lit up. Very well, Xiaoyao, go ahead. But I will pay attention to your safety, the 18th ancestor said. Jun Xiaoyao had a protective talisman that he had given him. Common supremes would not have been able to kill Jun Xiaoyao within a few hits. The Jun family had enough time to react and save Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao nodded slightly, then stepped out of the Jun residence alone and headed in the direction of the allied forces of the three immortal forces. Look, the son of God of the Jun family left the Jun residence? What is he trying to do? That direction is where the three immortal forces are coming from. Is the son of God of the Jun family crazy? What is he trying to do? Jun Xiaoyao's action was undoubtedly like a stone that stirred up 1,000 ripples. Everyone felt that it was inconceivable. At this juncture, shouldn't Jun Xiaoyao be hiding in the ancestral hall of the Jun family? Why was he going to fight alone against the three undying powers? Lord Son of God, Young Master, Jun Linglong, Jun Ying'er, Nalan Ruoshi, Forget Chuan, and the others were also surprised. Under the gaze of so many people, Jun Xiaoyao walked in the air with his hands behind his back. His white robe fluttered and his sleeves fluttered. He was like a banished immortal, stepping into the battlefield of blood and fire. At the same time, the allied forces of the three immortal forces marched straight in and were not far from the Jun family's territory. At this moment, the allied forces of the three immortal forces suddenly stopped in their track. Even Wang Yuanba, the sacred cult master, and the other powerhouses focused their eyes and looked into the distance with a hint of surprise in their eyes. A figure dressed as white as snow stood above the 9 heavens with his hands behind his back. His eyes were cold as he sized up the allied forces of the three immortal forces. Heaven and earth were empty, and he was alone. It was Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao slowly stretched out his finger and pointed at the three immortal forces. His tone was indifferent and casual. Today, I, Jun Xiaoyao, bestow defeat and death upon you. Chapter 508. As soon as Jun Xiaoyao said that, the world fell silent, and the universe fell silent. The entire battlefield seemed to have been stripped of all sound at this moment. It was so quiet that even the sound of a pin dropping could be heard. What did they just hear? Jun Xiaoyao wanted to defeat the three immortal forces by himself? Everyone thought that they were hallucinating. Otherwise, the son of God of the Jun family had gone mad. Everyone could see the current situation. The Jun family was able to resist the four Archean royalty forces, but it was difficult for them to divert more forces to deal with the three immortal forces. Lord Son of God. Many prides and princesses of the forces who were watching the battle from the periphery were also worried for Jun Xiaoyao. The princess of the great Shang dynasty and other admirers were praying for Jun Xiaoyao in their hearts. At this moment, almost everyone in the Huangtian mystic realm was looking at Jun Xiaoyao. Even the battle between the great ancestors in the starry sky was not as exciting as Jun Xiaoyao fighting the three immortal forces by himself. Everyone wanted to know if Jun Xiaoyao had really gone mad, or if he had something to rely on. Hearing Jun Xiaoyao's words, even Wang Yuanba thought that he had heard wrong for a moment. Wang Yuanba said coldly, "You brat, have you lost your mind?" Jun Xiaoyao looked at Wang Yuanba indifferently and said, "I killed Wang Ting." As soon as he finished speaking, Wang Yuanba's body trembled, and a terrifying murderous intent that was enough to change the color of the world burst out. Under such a shocking murderous intent, an ordinary saint would have gone limp and his mind would have collapsed. However, Jun Xiaoyao stood with his hands behind his back. His expression was calm. Even if Mount Tai collapsed in front of him, his expression would not change. "You little bastard, you are courting death." Wang Yuanba raised his hand and was about to suppress Jun Xiaoyao with his palm. However, in Jun Xiaoyao's spatial power item, a protective talisman lit up. It was Jun Wuhui's protective talisman. Boundless light surged like a tide. Vaguely, a blurry figure that stood in the 9 heavens and 10 earths appeared and pointed at Wang Yuanba. PFFTT. Wang Yuanba's entire body flew out as he spat out a mouthful of blood. His shoulder was pierced through, leaving behind a large bloody hole. That figure is the white-robed divine King Jun Wuhui. Countless gasps could be heard from all directions. Many people felt goosebumps rising on their skin. It's no wonder that the Jun's son of God's protective talisman is so. It's because he has the protective talisman. With this amulet, it's really impossible to kill the divine child of the Jun family in a second. You! Wang Yuanba wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. His expression was even more furious. At the same time, there was a hint of fear in his eyes. The white-robed divine king was the divine kings of Wuhui. Even if Jun Wuhui was unable to participate in the battle of the immortals for some reason, it didn't mean that he was no longer a threat. "Kid, is this what you're relying on? If that's all, then you're really naive," the sacred leader of the sacred sect said indifferently. He sat high on the golden throne, as if he was a god worshipped by all. The white-robed divine King Jun Wuhui was powerful, but it was only a protective talisman after all. Once the energy in it was used up, it would be useless. Therefore, Jun Xiaoyao was indeed naive to think that a protective talisman would be able to act arrogantly in front of the three immortal forces. I, the Son of God, just want to say that the three immortal forces are all useless. What else can you do other than bully the weak? No one in the younger generation is a match for me, the Son of God. Now I, the Son of God, am standing right here. Is there any saint among the three forces who can kill me, the Son of God? Jun Xiaoyao flung his sleeves, his tone cold and disdainful. His words directly stepped on the minefield of the three forces. Wang Yuanba's face was ferocious. Jun Xiaoyao was dancing on the tip of a knife. However, no one could refute his words because it was the truth. The sacred leader's face also darkened slightly. The sons and saintesses of the sacred sect were ashamed, but they had all died tragically in the hands of Jun Xiaoyao. As for the palace of the fallen god, it was filled with murderous intent. The fallen son of God, the dark son of God, and the underworld prince had all died in the hands of Jun Xiaoyao. He had almost cut off all the younger generation of the palace of the fallen god. This person is too arrogant, let me kill him. A middle-aged saint from the Wang family couldn't help but step out. He could be considered a rather famous genius of the Wang clan. After spending 800 years, he had become a saint. Although 800 years was a long time, it was considered very young for a saint. Of course, compared to Jun Xiaoyao, the 18-year-old saint, he was nothing. "Kid, I'll kill you!" The saint of the Wang family shouted coldly, took out a heavenly knife, and swept it towards Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao was not afraid of a saint of the same level. He activated the power of 100,000 divine elephants, and the true body of the primordial divine elephant appeared. Jun Xiaoyao pressed down with his palm, and the true body of the primordial divine elephant crushed down from the sky, shattering the void like a piece of paper. The saint of the Wang family was shocked, and he didn't even have the chance to struggle before his body exploded into a ball of blood, and even his primordial spirit was shattered. "That's it?" Jun Xiaoyao tilted his head slightly. How dare he challenge him? "Kid, don't be so arrogant." The second saint of the Wang family attacked again, but he was still killed by Jun Xiaoyao in 3 rounds. The corner of Wang Yuanba's eyes twitched. He wasn't sad about the saint's death, but he was angry. None of the saints of the Wang family could deal with Jun Xiaoyao. "Let me do it." A saint of the sacred sect also attacked. He chanted scriptures, and golden ancient characters appeared one after another, like golden mountains, pressing down on Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao's expression was indifferent. With a flick of his finger, the sword chi of the immortal slayer sword chant shot out, as if it could cut through the stars. The golden ancient characters were all shattered by the sword chi. Jun Xiaoyao stepped into the air and instantly appeared in front of the saint of the sacred sect, then punched him hard. The void shattered and the spatial turbulence shook. The saint's body and primordial spirit were annihilated at the same time, and they were sucked into the dark spatial turbulence. The saints of the 3 immortal forces were all terrified, and they had goosebumps on their backs. They didn't expect Jun Xiaoyao to be so powerful. As expected of a saint who has survived the supreme tribulation, the many forces watching from the outside of the emperor's state exclaimed in their hearts, Jun Xiaoyao was an invincible saint. If such a ferocious person stepped onto the emperor's road, how could the other sky prides stand a chance? Why? Is there no one else from the 3 forces? Jun Xiaoyao put one hand behind his back as he looked at the terrified gazes. After killing a few saints, his white robe was still spotless, and there was a faint smile on his lips. However, the more he was like this, the more terrifying it was. Seeing the extreme fear in the eyes of the saints of the 3 forces, Jun Xiaoyao sighed and shook his head slightly. How about this? I, the Son of God, will take a step back. Any saint of the 3 forces can fight, and I, the Son of God, will not rely on external forces. As soon as Jun Xiaoyao finished speaking, everyone stopped breathing, and their hearts seemed to have skipped a beat. Was Jun Xiaoyao going to fight all the saints of the 3 immortal forces alone? Chapter 509. Jun Xiaoyao's words made everyone dumbfounded. The higher one's realm, the harder it was to fight 1,000 alone. For example, in the Ascension realm or the Divine Fire realm, some prodigies could indeed fight 10 or even 100 alone. However, the higher one's realm, whether it was challenging someone of a higher realm or fighting 100 alone, it would be more difficult. Especially those who could cultivate to the sage realm, who didn't have some skills. They were all cultivators with a strong foundation and ability. Therefore, generally speaking, even if some of the saints with monstrous aptitudes could fight against 5 or 10 people at the same time, it would already be good enough. But now, Jun Xiaoyao said that all the saints of the 3 major forces could attack. What kind of courage was that? The saints of the 3 major forces added up to more than 900, close to 1,000. This was an extremely terrifying number that made one's scalp tingle. And Jun Xiaoyao was only one person. Fighting 1,000 alone in the Sage Realm? They didn't even dare to think about it. However, when the saints of the three major forces heard this, their eyes burst with cold light. This kid is courting death. We can only fulfill his wish. The saint of the Wang family said with killing intent. That's right, there's no need to talk about face with Jun Xiaoyao. He's not human, he's a monster. A saint of the saint sect said coldly. It was a bit shameless for a group of saints to besiege a single saint. However, Jun Xiaoyao couldn't be measured by common sense. Moreover, Jun Xiaoyao's talent was too monstrous. He was a huge hidden danger. The reason why this immortal battle was started was partly because Jun Xiaoyao was feared. At this point, the three major forces wouldn't be polite. There were more than 10 saints from the Wang family. Without hesitation, they joined forces and rushed out. There were also more than 20 saints of the Saint sect. There were also more than 10 saints of the fallen god palace. Their bodies shook, turned into black smoke, and hid in the void, ready to backstab Jun Xiaoyao. Seeing this, Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were calm. He naturally didn't want to be tortured or courted death. Instead, he wanted to use the saints of the three major forces to measure his current true strength and how strong he was. Jun Xiaoyao's strength was already very strong before he passed the Sage Tribulation. Now that he had passed the Sage Tribulation, Jun Xiaoyao felt that he had become even stronger. However, Jun Xiaoyao did not know exactly how strong they were. Therefore, he needed some tools to be used as a yardstick. Weren't the saints of the three undying forces just ready-made punching bags? Since it was free, what reason did Jun Xiaoyao have to not take advantage of it? He stepped forward and crossed the void. Using his finger as a sword, the sword light of the immortal slayer sword art surged out. He pointed at a saint of the Wang clan and directly pierced through his forehead, killing him in one move. It was a clean kill. Die! Several saints of the Wang family attacked together with bloodshot eyes. They cast all kinds of terrifying divine powers of the Wang family and surrounded Jun Xiaoyao. However, Jun Xiaoyao was caught off guard. Just when the saints of the Wang family were overjoyed. In the next moment, they were shocked to find that the divine powers turned into nothingness when they came within 10 feet of Jun Xiaoyao. Mana immunity. The saints of the Wang family immediately thought of the rumors about Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao possessed a rare type of immunity to magical powers. However, they did not expect Jun Xiaoyao to be immune to even saint-level mana divine powers. Jun Xiaoyao took advantage of this opportunity to dash forward and punch a saint of the Wang family. The saint of the Wang family only felt that the surrounding space was squeezing his body. Jun Xiaoyao's punch sucked away all the surrounding air and distorted the void like an air cannon. The body of the saint of the Wang family could not withstand it and directly exploded. The saint's blood splattered everywhere. Golden divine chains of order rushed out of Jun Xiaoyao's forehead and turned into the primitive Emperor Dao sword, directly destroying the saint's primordial spirit. Kill! Seeing this, the saints of the sacred sect surrounded him again. They refused to believe that Jun Xiaoyao would be able to kill all of them on his own. All kinds of terrifying divine powers were released, and that part of the world was boiling. One had to admit that these saints' methods were very powerful. They caused the world to tremble and the earth to shatter. However, in front of Jun Xiaoyao, all of this was useless. During the Sage Tribulation, he could fight against the young great emperors and the young ancient emperors. Compared to those peerless figures, these saints in front of him were just like chickens and dogs. 6 Paths of Reincarnation Fist. Jun Xiaoyao used the 6 Paths of Reincarnation Fist to control 6 terrifying divine powers and smash them towards the group of saints. In an instant, blood splattered and broken limbs splattered everywhere. At the same time, there were panicked screams. Jun Xiaoyao killed over a dozen saints with a single punch. The rest of the saints were affected by the shockwaves as well, spitting blood from their mouth. At this moment, a murderous light suddenly flashed across the void. It was the Saint of Slaughter from the fallen god palace. He held a bloody dagger in his hand and stabbed it at Jun Xiaoyao from an extremely tricky and vicious angle. Jun Xiaoyao's expression was calm, and his body shook slightly. In an instant, the 7-dragon vital energy exploded, and a terrifying dragon qi surged out. On the surface of his body, a silver armor that glowed with rainbow light condensed. It was the rainbow sacred dragon armor. Ding! The bloody dagger stabbed the rainbow sacred dragon armor, but it could not leave a single mark. The Saint of Slaughter from the fallen god palace was dumbfounded. The bloody dagger in his hand was close to a supreme artifact, but it could not even penetrate Jun Xiaoyao's armor. Ridiculous! Jun Xiaoyao shook his head slightly. He raised his hand and blasted out. The 7-dragon vital energy surged. 7 dragon-shaped shadows of different colors rose into the sky. It was the ultimate move. 7 dragons destroy the world. Kill! Jun Xiaoyao let out a murderous roar. The Saint of Slaughter from the fallen god palace was directly blasted into nothingness by the 7 dragons destroy the world. Jun Xiaoyao's performance stunned many of the important figures outside the Emperor state. They felt that it was somewhat unreal. Why did it feel like the saints who were usually high and mighty were inferior to pigs and dogs in front of Jun Xiaoyao? Son of God, meanwhile, Jun Xiaoyao's admirers, such as the Princess of Great Shang, all had stars in their eyes. This was the person they admired and worshipped. That kind of invincible divine appearance was fascinating. Another saint from the fallen god palace had a gloomy expression as he shouted, "Damn it! Everyone, don't hold back. Attack together." Even if there were more than 10 saints, it would be difficult to keep Jun Xiaoyao in check. Then, they could only let more people attack together. In the saint realm, a quantitative change was enough to cause a qualitative change. If there were enough saints, it was even possible to make the saint kings and even the supreme saints bleed. Following the call of the saints from the fallen god palace, nearly 100 figures rushed out from the 3 immortal forces. In addition to some of the saints from before. This time, there were more than 100 saints surrounding Jun Xiaoyao at the same time. This was a magical scene that made everyone feel that it was extremely unreal. In the Huangtian mystic realm, when had there ever been a scene where 100 saints surrounded and killed a single saint? This was simply a spectacle that was rarely seen in all of eternity. At this time, even the cultivators who were optimistic about Jun Xiaoyao before shook their head. No matter how powerful an invincible saint was impossible to resist the attack of 100 saints of the same level. Everyone was watching, wanting to know what Jun Xiaoyao would do. The corner of Jun Xiaoyao's mouth was still curled into a calm smile when he saw that. Then, he slowly raised his hand, and a wave of heart-palpitating fluctuations spread out. Then, an extremely heavy bronze cauldron with an ancient aura appeared in front of everyone's eyes. It was the Myriad Qi Cauldron. Chapter 510. The Myriad Qi Cauldron floated in the void. It had 3 legs and 2 handles, looking extremely heavy and ancient. The cauldron was engraved with the sun, moon, mountains, rivers, plants, insects, and fish, as well as the worship of the ancestors. At the same time, within the Myriad Qi Cauldron, dense Myriad Qi was rolling. Every strand of it could crush thousands of miles of mountains and rivers. Jun Xiaoyao held the Myriad Qi Cauldron in his hand, as if he was the origin of all things and a god worshipped by the ancestors. That cauldron, why does it feel like the prototype of an emperor weapon? What a terrifying aura. Even the void is about to be crushed by that cauldron. Oh my god, is that the legendary Myriad Qi? When the Myriad Qi Cauldron was revealed, everyone took a deep breath. If there was a list of the rarest divine materials in the world, the Myriad Qi Cauldron would definitely be one of the best treasures in the world. Every strand of it was extremely precious, and could be called the best material to forge an emperor weapon. And now, the myriad chi cauldron was rolling in the myriad chi cauldron. Everyone was stunned by Jun Xiaoyao's generosity. This cauldron, together with the myriad chi cauldron, would even move a supreme being and make them greedy. Seeing the shocked gazes of the sages, Jun Xiaoyao's lips curled into a mocking smile. Are you still in the mood to be shocked at a time like this? Since that's the case, I'll kill all of you at once. As soon as Jun Xiaoyao finished speaking, he suddenly stepped into the void. In an instant, numerous sealing runes rose into the air around him. Like chains, they locked down the space around him. The hundreds of sages who were charging at Jun Xiaoyao happened to be within the range of the sealing runes. What is this? What a terrifying sealing rune! The saints who charged at Jun Xiaoyao all had looks of fear in their eyes. Their minds of the path were all shaken. At this moment, they were like pigs and dogs in a cage waiting to be slaughtered. And Jun Xiaoyao was the butcher. When did the son of God of the Jun family set up this sealing technique? By the way, when the son of God of the Jun family was fighting with those saints, he seemed to have started to make arrangements. The son of God of the Jun family is actually this scheming? Some of the old antiques watching from the sidelines saw through Jun Xiaoyao's methods. However, that was exactly what Jun Xiaoyao had done. The sealing technique he used was truly the 7 seals of the Immortal's forbidden seal. Of course, this was not the complete version of the 7th Immortal Restriction Seal. With Jun Xiaoyao's current Sage Realm cultivation, he could unleash the complete 2nd seal on his own. However, even if it was only the 2nd seal, it was more than enough to seal these saints. Jun Xiaoyao had indeed secretly arranged this during the battle just now. I can't break this sealing rune. A saint tried to break the seal, but he was powerless. As for Wang Yuanba and the others, they did not interfere for the time being. This was because they did not think that Jun Xiaoyao had the ability to survive the siege of 100 saints. Little bastard, pay with your life for my son. Wang Yuanba's heart was filled with coldness. At this moment, the 100 or so saints who were sealed by the 2nd seal looked panicked. However, when they thought of the number of people here, their panic gradually dissipated. The fear in their eyes was replaced by a murderous look. Little brat Jun, you've trapped us with this sealing technique. Are you planning to kill us all in one fell swoop? I have to say, your naivety is somewhat laughable. That's right. Even if you're almost invincible in the saint realm and can easily kill a saint, we have 100 saints here. How can you kill them all? The saints of the 3 immortal forces had a cold look in their eyes. Jun Xiaoyao, on the other hand, looked indifferent. Ants talk too much. I, the son of God, never talk too much with dead people. As soon as Jun Xiaoyao finished speaking, he activated the spirit sea in his body. Vast dermic powers surged like a tide into the myriad chi cauldron. The myriad chi cauldron rose into the air and instantly expanded, turning into a huge bronze cauldron the size of a mountain. At the same time, wisps of myriad chi poured down like a waterfall. Suppress. Jun Xiaoyao pointed out with his fingers and pointed downward. The myriad chi cauldron, which was as big as a bronze mountain, carried the surging myriad chi cauldron and suppressed the 100 or so saints. A wisp of the myriad chi cauldron could crush a mountain range. Even someone as strong as Jun Xiaoyao's body had been disintegrated by the myriad chi cauldron. Not to mention, these saints' bodies could not be compared to Jun Xiaoyao's at all. As the myriad chi cauldron descended, the air below seemed to be compressed to the extreme, emitting an ear-piercing sonic boom. The 100 or so saints who were trapped in the sealing array felt as if a part of the universe was crushing down on them. Their skin began to crack, and their bones began to creak as if they could not bear the burden. How could this be? Leave, quickly break this sealing array and leave. All the saints roared, and the mocking look on their faces had completely disappeared. Instead, it was replaced by fear in the face of death. However, the 2nd seal of the immortal prohibition was not something they could break. In addition, in the midst of fear, It was impossible for the 100 or so saints to gather their strength together. They were just a bunch of headless flies. This sudden turn of events, even Wang Yuanba and the others did not expect it. By the time they came to their senses, the myriad qi cauldron had already descended. Puff, 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 puff. The bodies of the saints exploded like beans. Their bones and blood splattered, and even their primordial spirits were scattered by the myriad qi cauldron. None of the saints could bear the weight of the myriad qi cauldron. Not everyone was like Jun Xiaoyao, who had the potential to become an emperor with his physical body. Not everyone was like Jun Xiaoyao, who had the strength of 100,000 immemorial divine elephants. It was impossible for them to resist the myriad qi cauldron. Just a slight touch of their bodies would cause them to turn into blood foam. There were even some saints who did not have strong bodies. They did not even need to touch the myriad qi cauldron. Just the terrifying pressure alone was enough to crush their bodies. There were also very few saints who focused on body refinement who were trying their best to resist. However, the thick strands of myriad qi cauldron fell and directly shattered their bodies, cutting off their vitality. In just a short breath's time, in the entire ceiling array pattern, there was no one alive other than Jun Xiaoyao. The ground was filled with the bones and blood of the saints. Stunned, all the cultivators of the three immortal forces were completely stunned. Even Wang Yuanba, the sacred cult master, and the others were a little disconnected, as if they had not recovered from their shock. More than 100 saints were killed by Jun Xiaoyao's cauldron just like that? Was this for real? Not only the three immortal forces, but also countless other immortal forces who were paying attention to this place. Many old antiques and important figures were all stunned. A cauldron killed 100 saints. Such a magical scene actually happened in front of their eyes. Jun Xiaoyao had simply created something that had never been done before. Everyone was sighing. The son of God of the Jun family was a ruthless person. No, he was more than a little more ruthless than a ruthless person. It should be said that he was ruthless. Chapter 5:11. Everyone finally understood what Jun Xiaoyao meant when he said he would wipe them out in one fell swoop. It turned out that Jun Xiaoyao was really treating saints as if they were vegetables. The son of God of the Jun family is too scheming. He's been scheming against the saints of the three immortal forces for a long time. That's terrifying. The son of God of the Jun family is already so powerful now. How much more powerful will he be when he grows up? That bronze cauldron in his hand definitely has the potential to become an emperor weapon. Outside the emperor's state, many forces were sighing. Jun Xiaoyao was, without a doubt, a role model for all young heroes. The 18th ancestor and the others who had been paying attention to Jun Xiaoyao smiled. They were very satisfied with Jun Xiaoyao's performance. Killing 100 saints in front of the three imperishable forces was like slapping the three forces in the face. Jun Linglong, Jun Inger, Nalan Ruashi, and the other girls also felt relieved. They looked at Jun Xiaoyao with even more admiration. One man slaughtering 100 saints. That was a miracle that only Jun Xiaoyao could create. Wang Yuanba's face looked like it had been smeared with a layer of ash from the bottom of a pot. The sacred cult master's face was also ugly. The three immortal forces were made a fool of by Jun Xiaoyao. As for the other saints of the three forces, they all felt as if their bodies were soaked in ice water. A chill surged up their spines and pierced their bones. Even their hearts turned cold. The broken bones and blood on the ground used to belong to more than 100 living saints. They were killed by Jun Xiaoyao's cauldron just like that. Anyone would feel a chill from the bottom of their heart. What's wrong? You've lost your courage? Continue. This son of God will give you a chance to kill me. Jun Xiaoyao stood in the void with a calm expression. He had just warmed up and had yet to use any of his technique. How could these saints have already lost their courage? However, Jun Xiaoyao's provocation did not receive any response. The sages of the three major forces were not fools, nor were they lunatics who did not care about their own lives. Jun Xiaoyao's strength had already been displayed. Hundreds of saints had not been able to cause him the slightest bit of harm. Instead, they had all perished. Even if they attacked again, the result would be the same. Jun Xiaoyao looked around and saw the fearful expressions of the sages of the three major forces. He shook his head in pity. These people were not fools. This boy is a monstrous monster. Let's just kill him. I don't believe that Jun Wuhui's protective talisman can protect him several times. Suddenly, a supreme ancestor of the Wang family stepped out. His eyes were filled with murderous intent. Wang Ting was a junior that he had high hopes for. However, he was killed by Jun Xiaoyao. His killing intent towards Jun Xiaoyao was not any weaker than Wang Yuanba's. Without any hesitation, the Wang clan's supremacy unleashed the cultivation of a lesser heavenly venerable and attacked Jun Xiaoyao. When Jun Xiaoyao saw this, his eyes were very calm. It was as if he did not take the Wang clan's supremacy seriously at all. On the other side, the 18th ancestor frowned slightly. He was about to cross the void when he suddenly stopped in his tracks. The 18th ancestor's eyes were filled with surprise and bewilderment. That aura, just as the 18th ancestor was feeling doubtful, a ravishing silhouette tore through the air behind Jun Xiaoyao all of a sudden and emerged. Her terrifying aura caused the heavens and earth to tremble. The Wang clan's supremacy who attacked Jun Xiaoyao had an unprecedented look of horror in his eyes. This aura made him feel extremely terrified. It was a delicate and beautiful woman. She was dressed in a bright red palace qipao. Her gorgeous face was filled with extreme coldness as she looked at the Wang clan's supremacy. She waved her jade-like hand and slapped the void toward the Wang clan's supremacy's face. The Wang clan's supremacy, whose cultivation had reached the supremacy realm, did not have the slightest ability to resist. He was ruthlessly slapped in the face by the beautiful woman. The terrifying power directly caused the Supreme Being's head to rotate 360 degrees, and his entire head fell to the ground. "How dare you attack my little brother Xiaoyao? I'll beat your head off!" The beautiful woman pouted. Then, in a flash, she landed beside Jun Xiaoyao. Her plump breasts were close to Jun Xiaoyao's arm. Her charming face was filled with hunger as she said, "Little brother Xiaoyao, I've helped you vent your anger. When the time comes, you have to help me too." Jun Xiaoyao blushed with shame. At the same time, he looked at the Wang clan's supremacy whose head had been beaten off. There was also a look of pity in his eyes. A dignified supremacy being beaten off his head. That was really tragic. However, at this moment, there was no sound between heaven and earth. Everyone's expression froze. A supreme martial artist was directly beheaded by someone with a single slap. Everyone's gazes turned towards the charming woman in unison. This beautiful woman was naturally one of the 4 powerhouses in the Bronze Immortal Palace, Fang Xunyang. However, outsiders naturally did not know. They were just shocked. Where did this powerhouse come from? Is she a powerhouse from the Jun family? But why do I feel like I've never seen her before? That aura is too terrifying. She should be a 5th-level supremacy, a supreme mystique venerable. An elder from an immortal force said in shock. A supreme mystique venerable was already a top-notch powerhouse. However, since when did Jun Xiaoyao have such a powerful protector by his side? Even the 18th ancestor was slightly stunned. Then, he laughed and shook his head. It seems that I've underestimated Xiaoyao's opportunity. Perhaps I don't have to worry about him anymore. Thinking back to how confident Jun Xiaoyao was previously, the 18th ancestor felt that he might have worried for nothing. On the other side, the supremacy who had been beheaded picked up his head and retreated with a look of horror. In the supreme mystique venerable realm, having one's head beheaded would not cause death. The physical body's recovery ability was very strong, as long as the primordial spirit was not destroyed. However, this utmost exalted was terrified. He knew that Fang Xunyang had only casually slapped him. If she had really used her full strength, he would not have had the slightest chance of survival. Where did this powerhouse come from? Wang Yuanba, the sacred leader, and the others all had a dark look in their eyes. Logically speaking, a person who had cultivated to the supreme mystique venerable realm should not be a nameless person. However, they had never heard of such a powerful female mystique venerable realm appearing in the Huangtian mystique realm. At this moment, many people once again recalled that when Jun Xiaoyao came, he had said that he would defeat the three immortal forces. At that time, everyone thought that it was just Jun Xiaoyao's arrogant words that he said in a moment of anger. Now, after seeing the appearance of this mysterious powerhouse, Fang Xunyang, some people had a vague feeling in their hearts. Jun Xiaoyao did not seem to be saying harsh words. He was just speaking the truth. Although a supreme mystique venerable realm is strong, it is impossible for her to stop the three immortal forces. Wang Yuanba's expression was cold. That supreme mystique venerable realm was at most able to protect Jun Xiaoyao. It was still a fantasy to fight against the three immortal forces. However, when Jun Xiaoyao heard this, he shook his head and smiled. If one person can't do it, then how about an immortal force? Jun Xiaoyao put his hands behind his back and smiled faintly. His words caused everyone to feel puzzled and confused. Chapter 5:12. An immortal force? What did that mean? Many people were puzzled. Wang Yuanba's eyes flashed when he heard that. Then, as if he had thought of something, he said, "Is the immortal force you're talking about the Jiang family?" The sacred cult master shook his head when he heard that. Even the Jiang family can't stop the three immortal forces. Indeed, the Jiang family was very powerful. However, it was only a clan of the ancients. It was still difficult for them to deal with the three immortal forces. Countless cultivators watching the battle outside the emperor's state shook their heads when they heard that. They also thought that Jun Xiaoyao was referring to the Jiang family of the ancients. After all, Jun Xiaoyao had another identity. He was the young master of the Jiang family of the ancient. He could indeed mobilize the power of the Jiang family of the ancient. The Jiang family of the ancients wouldn't turn a blind eye to Jun Xiaoyao. However, Jun Xiaoyao's lips curled into a faint smile. There was even a hint of pity and mockery in his eyes. Wang Yuanba was furious when he saw that look. He hated people like Jun Xiaoyao the most. They were ignorant juniors who thought they could control the immortal battle despite their weak abilities. Everyone, let's kill this little bastard first and then destroy the Jun family. Wang Yuanba shouted coldly and stopped delaying. The sacred cult master also led the sacred cult's team to attack. The palace of the fallen god did the same. Jun Xiaoyao looked so lonely in front of the three immortal forces powerhouses. Just as the 18th ancestor was about to make a move, Jun Xiaoyao suddenly sighed. This sigh was filled with pity for the ignorant ants. Frogs in the well can't talk about the sea, summer insects can't talk about the ice. In that case, let this immortal battle be the battle to make a name for myself, Jun Xiaoyao's force. Jun Xiaoyao's words stunned all the spectators. Even the 18th ancestor and the rest of the Jun family were confused. Since when did Jun Xiaoyao have his own force? Emperor Huan Yu, the immortal heavenly court. Where are the people of the immortal heavenly court? Jun Xiaoyao waved his sleeves, and his voice resounded between heaven and earth. In an instant, in the void, numerous spatial vortexes appeared, as if the roars and cries of billions of living beings could be heard. Yes, monarch. The beautiful human clan obeys monarch's orders. Within a spatial vortex, numerous supreme auras appeared, and the beauty clan's Dawn Immortal and the others appeared. There were also several supreme true ancestors of the beauty race around her. Other than that, there were also sacred leaders, great sages, presages, and other powerhouses following closely behind. Behind them, more and more beauty tribe troops appeared. A vigorous shout also sounded from another spatial whirlpool. The dragon-human clan of the imperial court obeys the monarch's orders. The dragon-human clan also flew over, led by the ancestor of the dragon-human clan, Ao Tsang Yuan. The dragon human race also had several supreme ancestors, and there were quite a number of other experts as well. The ancient sorcerer tribe of the imperial court obeys the monarch's order. The ancient sorcerer progenitor also led the ancient sorcerer tribe's team out of the spatial vortex. The three-eyed divine clan of the monarch imperial court obeys the monarch's command. The ancient ancestor of the three-eyed divine clan also led the army over. These spatial whirlpools were connected to the immortal ancient world, so they could also descend into the Huangtian mystic realm without any hindrance. In addition to the four great clans of the immortal ancient world, there were also hundreds of millions of immortal ancient creatures surging out of the spatial crack. The scene was as if a foreign realm had invaded the immortal ancient world, and countless creatures surged over like a tide. Wang Yuanba and the others were completely dumbfounded. Their minds were buzzing, and their bodies were numb as if they had been struck by lightning. The sacred cult leader's body trembled slightly, and he almost fell off the golden throne. Even the group of supreme beings who were fighting above the 9 heavens stars could feel the surging aura. When they looked over, their faces froze. How is this possible? Those are all immortal ancient clans. Long Han, who was Zulong, widened his eyes in disbelief. The Archean royalty supremes were all shocked by this scene. Why could the immortal ancient clans leave the immortal ancient world? Why did they have to listen to Jun Xiaoyao's orders? And the Emperor's court, was this the immortal ancient force that Jun Xiaoyao had mentioned? In the entire Huangtian mystic realm, all the cultivators and creatures who were paying attention widened their eyes. Their scalps were numb, and their hearts trembled as if they were about to be petrified. Jun Xiaoyao's move could be said to have shocked everyone. No one had expected such a thing to happen. Even the 18th ancestor of the Jun family's side was stunned. He knew that Jun Xiaoyao might have a fortuitous encounter. But this opportunity was too great, wasn't it? It was equivalent to having an immortal ancient force out of thin air. Jun Linglong, Jun Ing-er, Nalan Ruashi, and the other girls also opened their red lips, and their hearts were surging. The word miracle was simply created for Jun Xiaoyao. At this moment, the endless immortal ancient clans rushed out of the spatial whirlpool under the leadership of the four great clans. They were both excited and emotional. Finally, after countless years, they had finally returned to the mystic realm again. At this moment, the hearts of every immortal ancient being were filled with fanatical gratitude towards Jun Xiaoyao. Without Jun Xiaoyao, they would not have been able to experience this freedom. Their loyalty to Jun Xiaoyao was once again raised to the peak. Seeing the mighty immortal ancient army, the hearts of the cultivators of the three immortal ancient forces sank to the bottom. The combined forces of the three immortal ancient forces were indeed powerful. But the immortal ancient army was not to be trifled with. Just the four great immortal ancient races alone, each of them had a foundation close to an undying power. It could be said that Jun Xiaoyao already had the power to fight against the three immortal ancient forces. However, that was not the only thing that was shocking. Jun Xiaoyao raised his hand again. Above the starry sky, the space cracked open. A magnificent, ancient-looking bronze palace with a desolated aura appeared. The sun, the moon, and the galaxy seemed to be surrounding the palace. It's the Bronze Immortal Palace. The appearance of the Bronze Immortal Palace was like a huge rock falling into the ocean, stirring up huge waves in all directions. That was not all. An aged voice could be heard. TSK, who would have thought that I would be able to witness such a rare battle of the immortal ancient forces as soon as I stepped out of the Immortal Palace. Fascinating, I would like to move my bones too. Following the voice, a blind old man in a tattered robe appeared. Beside him, a cripple and the parrot showed up too. You guys are finally willing to show up, Fang Xunyang smiled and went over with a flicker. The three people and one bird looked like an inconspicuous existence in the crowd. However, under the contrast of the Bronze Immortal Palace, The three of them and the bird were emitting a terrifying aura. 4 Supreme Mystic Highnesses. The supreme being of the Wang clan, whose head had been knocked off, picked it up. However, his lips were trembling as he stuttered. Even his soul was trembling. True Lord Gulen above, please protect our sect. The supreme being protector of the sacred sect prayed in his heart as his heart sank. As soon as the imperial court appeared, it shocked the Huangtian mystic realm. This lineup was simply invincible. Chapter 513. At this moment, Jun Xiaoyao, the lord of the imperial court, stood in the sky. His robes fluttered in the wind, making him look like a divine king in white. The immortal ancient army formed an endless wave behind him. The experts of the immortal ancient four great races surrounded him. The bronze immortal palace floated above his head. An old blind man and the other three supreme mystic venerables stood high in the sky. This formed the most shocking scene. At this moment, Jun Xiaoyao seemed to be the ruler of the world, the lord of the imperial court. How is this possible? The bronze immortal palace, the immortal ancient races, and four supreme mystic venerables. Everyone's mind was buzzing and trembling. They could not believe it. They could not understand when Jun Xiaoyao had such terrifying power. Wang Yuanba and the others' minds were blank. As far as the eye could see, there were millions upon millions of immortal ancient armies, vast and majestic. There was no end in sight. This force was enough to uproot an immortal force. Many cultivators of the three immortal forces felt their legs go soft and tremble. Not to mention these enemies, even the 18th ancestor was stunned. He then shook his head and smiled bitterly. I even said that Xiaoyao could not control this immortal war, but now, sigh, I'm old now. The world will belong to the young in the future. The 18th ancestor could not help but sigh. Jun Xiaoyao had indeed given everyone a great shock. Jiang Daoxiu of the Jiang family of Qing State even laughed. Haha, do you see that? This is my grandson. His words were filled with pride. As for Jun Linglong and the others, their eyes were filled with nothing but adoration. It could be said that the imperial court, the force that belonged to Jun Xiaoyao, had shocked billions of people the moment it appeared. The imperial court dares to use the name of emperor. You are committing a crime. Wang Yuanba's face was dark, but his eyes were filled with fear. When Jun Xiaoyao heard this, he smiled and said, My surname is Jun, and I am destined to be an emperor in the future. I will build the immortal heavenly court. Why can't I call myself the imperial court? Many of the old antiques fell silent when they heard these bold words. Jun Xiaoyao's tone was majestic, his aura swallowing 10,000 li like a tiger. The younger generation will surpass us in time. An elder of the celestial demon cult sighed. How could a powerhouse without any foundation dare to call itself an undying powerhouse? How could it dare to use the monarch's name? The sacred cult master asked coldly. While it was true that Jun Xiaoyao's imperial court had shocked many, it was still impossible for him to make the three immortal realm forces retreat. When Jun Xiaoyao saw this, he sneered and said, My monarch imperial court, with the monarch as the title and the emperor as the title, we have created chaos in the 8 barren lands and created chaos in the 9 regions. Who in the world can be our enemy? Immortal ancients, billions of creatures are fighting for my monarch imperial court. Following Jun Xiaoyao's words, the billions of immortal ancient soldiers shouted in unison, Fight for the monarch imperial court. Fight for the monarch imperial court. Kill. At Jun Xiaoyao's command, the billions of immortal ancient soldiers, led by the 4 great immortal ancient races, rushed toward the 3 immortal forces. How dare you make an enemy of the monarch imperial court? You are courting death. Li Xian of the Beauty clan unleashed her great heavenly venerate cultivation and pressed her palm forward. My monarch imperial court will sweep through the immortal domain. Any enemy will be crushed under our iron hooves. Ao Tsongyuan also roared coldly, and together with several supreme ancient ancestors of the dragon-human clan, rushed out. For a moment, heaven and earth were vast and mighty, and the universe shook. The monarch imperial court's first battle attracted the attention of countless forces in the Huangtian immortal domain. Boom, boom, boom. The supreme ancient ancestors of the immortal ancient races clashed with the supreme ancient powerhouses of the three immortal forces. The remaining immortal ancient army also clashed with the armies of the three immortal forces. Although the armies of the three immortal forces were strong, the immortal ancient army had an absolute advantage in terms of numbers. Shouts, sounds of fighting, and sounds of killing resounded throughout the heavens and earth. The scene of this battle was magnificent, and it was not inferior to the battle between the Jun family and the four great armies of the Archean royalty. However, this time, strictly speaking, Jun Xiaoyao alone stopped the advance of the three immortal forces. He did not rely on the power of the Jun family at all. This was Jun Xiaoyao's own power. Haha, our Jun family has such an outstanding junior. Monarch Imperial Court, what a great Monarch Imperial Court! Under the leadership of this child, the Monarch Imperial Court may be as glorious as our Jun family in the future. The great ancestors of the Jun family, who were fighting in the 9 heavenly stars, noticed the battle below, and their faces were filled with joy. The Jun family was not afraid of the 7 immortal forces in the first place. Now that the Monarch Imperial Court had joined in, the outcome of this immortal battle was obvious. On the other hand, on the side of the Archean royalty, Long Han and the others' faces were as dark as the bottom of a pot, and their hearts sank to the bottom of the valley. On the other side, the battle had reached its climax. An old blind man twisted his neck and said, "We should also move our muscles and bones." That's right. After staying in the Bronze Immortal Palace for so many years, our bones are stiff. It's time to move, said the neck. This conversation stunned the group of people who were watching the battle from the outside. What kind of existence were these ferocious people? How could they have stayed in the Bronze Immortal Palace for so many years? Moreover, there was one thing that shocked and puzzled everyone. How could Jun Xiaoyao control the Bronze Immortal Palace? Then I'll have to trouble the 4 Supreme Elders, Jun Xiaoyao said with a smile. Previously, Jun Xiaoyao had already invited an old blind man and the others to join the Monarch Imperial Court. He did not restrict their freedom, nor did he ask them to take on any responsibilities. All he needed to do was to use the title of Grand Elder. Fang Xunyang directly agreed, and an old blind man and the others did not refuse. Originally, according to their master's thoughts, they should also listen to Jun Xiaoyao's orders. Jun Xiaoyao was already giving them face by treating them so courteously. Don't forget that Jun Xiaoyao's identity was the Son of God, the young master of the 2 clan of the ancients. Even if an old blind man and the others were supreme mystic venerables, they could not put on airs in front of the clan of the ancients, who had a deep and unfathomable foundation. Therefore, they did not put on airs in front of Jun Xiaoyao. At this moment, an old blind man and the others also made their move. The power of the 4 supreme mystic venerables was imaginable. Even if they were fighting high up in the sky, the casual fluctuations could disrupt the laws of heaven and earth, and all kinds of spatial cracks were spread out like wounds. The junior heavenly venerables and grand heavenly venerables of the 3 immortal forces were no match for an old blind man and the others. Soon after, supreme beings from the 3 great undying powers fell, blood falling one after another, falling down like meteors. Heaven and earth mourned, and the sky was dyed red. Heaven and earth mourned the death of a supreme. Summon the Emperor weapon! Wang Yuanba's eyes were bloodshot as he roared. The suppression of the 4 supreme mystic venerables was too strong, and he had to summon the Emperor weapon to resist. Boom! Just as Wang Yuanba finished speaking, in the distant Wang family in the north, in the ancestral land, a vast emperor aura spread out, and a shining ruler-shaped weapon appeared. The surface of the weapon was branded with mysterious runes, and it carried the aura of a supreme emperor. It was the emperor weapon of the Wang family in the north, the northern emperor ruler. Chapter 5:14. At the same time, black mist surged within the fallen god palace's sphere of influence. A copper bell that was mottled with copper rust and stained with dark bloodstains appeared. Before the bell was shaken, a demonic sound that could destroy the world was heard. Even the primordial spirits of honorable immortals could not withstand it and would be shaken into nothingness. This was the imperial weapon of the fallen god palace, the fallen god bell. As it was shaken, the sound of the bell could cause gods and demons to fall from the heavens, shed blood, and everything in the world to die. It was an extremely terrifying imperial weapon. In addition, the aura of an imperial weapon also spread out from the sacred sect. Unlike the fallen god bell of the fallen god palace, when the imperial weapon of the sacred sect appeared, an endless aura of light surged, like a dazzling sun rising. In the dazzling sun, a golden scepter appeared. It was the sacred sect's imperial weapon, the scepter of light. The entire scepter of light was made of radiant immortal gold, releasing a sacred, transcendent, and worshipping aura. Around the scepter of light, there was an extremely mysterious power of faith flowing. The appearance of the three imperial weapons once again stirred up the aura of the entire Huangtian mystic realm. In addition to the 8 imperial weapons from before, a total of 11 imperial weapons appeared at the same time. This was a scene that no one had seen for many years. Many cultivators had never seen an imperial weapon in their entire lives. Now they had seen enough. The 3 imperial weapons tore through the void and arrived. The ruler of the Northern Emperor had the aura of a supreme emperor, as if it could rule the world. As the fallen god bell shook, it sounded like the bell of the end of all things. The scepter of light had the aura of a supreme light, and the mysterious power of faith spread out. The addition of the 3 imperial weapons to the battlefield boosted the morale of the 3 immortal forces, and they began to gradually stabilize their footing. Imperial weapons? An old blind man and the others saw this, and did not show much emotion on their faces. Just as Wang Yuanba and the others did not have time to breathe a sigh of relief, the bronze immortal palace floating in the sky began to tremble slowly. A terrifying aura was released, and it resisted the power of the 3 imperial weapons. This, Wang Yuanba and the others were dumbfounded. How could this work? Those were 3 peerless monarch weapons, yet they were blocked by the bronze immortal palace. The spectators from the immortal forces outside the Emperor State were shocked as well. However, when he thought about how the bronze immortal palace was one of the 7 unfathomable wonders, the scene before him didn't seem strange at all. It seems like this bronze immortal palace itself is a treasure, Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. Although the bronze immortal palace was now his possession, Jun Xiaoyao's current cultivation was not too high, so he was still unable to control the bronze immortal palace. In the hands of an old blind man and the others, the bronze immortal palace could display its greatest effect. Jun Xiaoyao had long planned to use the bronze immortal palace as a moving fortress for the monarch dynasty. On the battlefield, when Wang Yuanba saw that his imperial armament was completely suppressed and rendered useless, his heart turned cold. How could this be the result? This shouldn't be the case. At this moment, Wang Yuanba began to doubt his life. He even began to suspect that Jun Xiaoyao was the embodiment of the will of the celestial realm. Otherwise, how could he always create such impossible miracles? The immortal battle that was supposed to be won was forcefully turned around by Jun Xiaoyao and the monarch dynasty. Wang Yuanba looked at Jun Xiaoyao with extreme killing intent. God knew how much he wanted to kill Jun Xiaoyao. However, he couldn't do it. Not to mention that Jun Xiaoyao had Jun Wuhui's protective talisman on him. Even the 4 mystic venerables were an insurmountable defense line. Oh? You're still so determined to kill me. You're really stubborn. Jun Xiaoyao shook his head slightly when he felt Wang Yuanba's bone-chilling killing intent. Fang Xunyang raised her eyebrows and said coldly, You're still trying to harm my little brother Xiaoyao at this point. In that case, I'll have to kill you. Fang Xunyang reached out her white jade-like hand and broke through the void, crushing toward Wang Yuanba. When a mystic venerables attacked with all their strength, the power was enough to overturn the world. Wang Yuanba's eyes were filled with coldness and determination. At this point, there was no need to hide anything anymore. Either the Wang family would be destroyed, or the Jun family would be wiped out. Ancestor, please come out! Wang Yuanba yelled. As soon as he said that, many Wang family cultivators also yelled with bloodshot eyes, Ancestor, please come out and eliminate all enemies. Just as everyone in the Wang family finished yelling, a soft sigh suddenly rang in everyone's ears. That's right. It was just a soft sigh, but all the creatures in the Huangtian mystic realm seemed to have heard it. The Wang family was forced to this point by a kid. How sad, how sad! These words made everyone's hair stand on end. The Wang family in the northern land still had a foundation? However, some of the people from the immortal forces were not surprised at all. The immortal forces were immortals, so their foundation was naturally not that simple. In the depths of the Wang family's ancestral land, 9 dragon-headed horses soared into the sky, pulling a statue. The stone surface of the statue cracked and then slowly fell off. Among them, there was a white-haired old man with a gloomy aura. The old man's back was hunched, like a shriveled walnut. His qi and blood were declining, giving people the feeling that he was about to die. However, there was a faint primal chaos Tao law around the old man. The surrounding laws of heaven and earth seemed to be distorted and changed because of him. This aura, the 7th level of the supremacy, the chaotic lord. Feeling the aura, many leaders of the immortal forces were a little scared. This was a cultivator who stood at the top of the pyramid. With a thought, he could make heaven and earth sink, destroy everything, and return to chaos. I didn't expect the Wang family to have the chaotic lord. However, it seems that he has lived for many eras. His qi and blood are declining, and even the elixir of immortality can't save him. Some of the elders of the immortal forces saw through at a glance. The chaotic lord of the Wang family didn't seem to be in a good state and had reached the end of his life. Unless he took a step further and stepped onto the path of becoming a great emperor and broke through to the quasi-emperor realm, he might die soon. This was also why the Wang family almost never disturbed the ancient ancestor. Because every time the ancient ancestor woke up, his qi and blood would decline. A chaotic lord could indeed be the strongest foundation and protect the family for many eras. Beside this ancient ancestor of the Wang family, there were also several white-haired, old figures on the verge of death. Although their auras had not reached the chaotic lord level, they were still at the 6th level of the supremacy realm, the creation supremacy level. Looking at the Wang family's foundation, the first-rate forces watching the battle were dumbfounded, and they all gasped wildly. Was this the difference between the first-rate forces and the immortal forces? It was like a natural chasm. Chapter 5:15. Creation God and Chaos Lord. The appearance of the Wang clan's resources made even old Blindy and the others frown, their faces turning grim. Facing such a terrifying expert, even they would feel a great deal of pressure. Ancestor, please kill all of our enemies! The cultivators of the Wang family roared with bloodshot eyes. They wouldn't let the Wang family ancestor wake up if they had a choice. Why? Would the Wang family's ancient ancestor had a grave expression on his wrinkled face. He didn't expect the Wang family's opponent to be the Jun family of the ancients. But now that the war had begun, the Wang family had no way out. As the Wang family ancestor, he could only do his best for the Wang family and give it his last light and warmth. Otherwise, he couldn't just watch the Wang family be destroyed. In that case, let me meet the Jun family, the legendary 8th unfathomable family. The Wang family ancestor's muddy eyes suddenly burst out with unprecedented light. His aura began to rise, like a dragon awakening. For a moment, the world shook and the universe trembled. The stars in the sky trembled as if they were about to fall. Even the ancestors of the June family, who were slaughtering in the starry sky, revealed a trace of shock in their eyes. It's that old man. He's still alive? Some of the June family ancestors knew that the Wang family ancestor was a terrifying figure who had lived for many eras. Many people thought that he had already died. They didn't expect him to be sealed in the immortal source and extend his life for such a long time. The Wang family ancestor slowly reached out his hand, which seemed to cover the sky and hold the sun, the moon, and the stars. Jun Xiaoyao's expression changed slightly as he sensed the terrifying might of the attack. Although the Wang family ancestor's target was the Jun family, he would pass through this place along the way. Obviously, he wanted to wipe out Jun Xiaoyao and the army of the Emperor's palace. Wishful thinking. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were cold. On the other hand, the 18th ancestor didn't change much when he saw the Wang family ancestor attack. If Chaos Holy Man joined the battle of the immortals, they would be able to sense it and awaken. Just as the 18th ancestor was deep in thought, divine light once again surged within the ancestral shrine of the Jun family. The soil in the depths of the ancestral land was lifted again, and 3 figures crawled out again, covered in dust. It was different from when the Wang family's ancient ancestor came out. These 3 figures looked like they had just climbed out of a tomb after robbing it. They were 2 old men and an old woman. They were none other than the 10th, 9th, and 8th ancestors of the Jun family. The 9th ancestor and the 10th ancestor were both supremacies of creation. The 8th ancestor was even stronger. His cultivation was at the Chaos Dao Master level. How dare you attack my Jun family? You're courting death. The 8th ancestor brushed off the dust on his body and looked at the giant hand that blotted out the sky. He also stretched out a finger. In an instant, the void boiled violently, and endless chaotic chi filled the air. It was as if it had reached the early stage of opening the heavens. A giant chaos finger pointed out, shattering the void and causing mountains and rivers to crumble. The giant finger collided with the Wang family's ancient ancestor's palm. In an instant, the sky fell and the earth cracked. It was as if 2 continents had collided, bursting out huge waves. A faint groan was heard, and the Wang family's ancient ancestor took a few steps back. On the other hand, the 8th ancestor of the Jun family did not retreat at all. That's Jun Tianming, the 8th ancestor of the Jun family. He has been awakened. Some of the living fossils of the immortal forces were shocked. They knew that the 8th ancestor of the Jun family was called Jun Tianming, and he was extremely powerful. Although he was also a Chaos Dao Master, he was different from the Wang family's ancient ancestor. His life force was vigorous, and his skin was as smooth as a baby's. There was no trace of death at all. The Wang family's ancient ancestor was a Chaos Dao Master with 1 foot in the grave. There was a huge gap between them. Jun Tianming. The Wang family's ancient ancestor's face was solemn. The Wang family had him, and the Jun family naturally had a Chaos Dao Master. Otherwise, how could they have flourished in the mystic region for so long? Great Ancestor Tianming. Even the 18th ancestor cupped his hands slightly. In front of Jun Tianming, he was also a few generations younger. Haha, now any Tom, Dick, and Harry dares to provoke the Jun family. Jun Tianming sneered. His Chaos Dao Master aura was like a stabilizing needle, suppressing the entire scene of the immortal battle. How could this be? Some of the Wang family's cultivators could not believe it. The Wang family's ancient ancestor was forced to retreat by Jun Tianming, the 8th ancestor of the Jun family. Was there any hope left for them? Wang Yuanba's eyes also vaguely showed a trace of despair. Was the Jun family really invincible? At this time, the Slayer of the Fallen God Palace also shouted coldly, "Lord Slayer, please come to the world." In the ancestral land of the Fallen God Palace, demonic array patterns appeared, and blood rivers filled the sky. Only at the moment of extreme crisis would the demonic array be activated, awakening the slumbering Lord Slayer. Rumble! The sky was filled with blood clouds, and blood thunder shocked the world. A figure stepped on a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood. It was a middle-aged man wearing blood-red armor, and filled with an ancient aura. However, the vicissitudes in his blood-red eyes showed that he was not as young as he looked. This was the foundation of the fallen god Palace, a Chaos Tao Master Slayer. Who dares to provoke the fallen god Palace? The slayer of the fallen god Palace shouted coldly, and his killing intent was enough to freeze the endless sky. Another Chaos Tao Master. Everyone was shocked and the heroes were frightened. This immortal battle had really reached the climax, and it was white-hot. What shocked everyone even more was yet to come. Longhan of Zulong was also summoning the foundation of Zulong. Lord Azure Dragon, please come to the world. On Zulong's side, the dragon chi was boiling, and the ground was cracking. An ancient azure dragon woke up from its slumber, and its body was as winding as a mountain range thousands of miles long. It turned slightly, and the entire Huangtian mystic realm seemed to tremble 3 times. The azure dragon of Zulong has also woken up. Some of the cultivators of the immortal forces who knew a little about the inside story were so shocked that their eyelids twitched. This was definitely a terrifying creature, and its cultivation had reached the Chaos Tao Master level. Other than that, the Wanhuang Spirit Mountain, the ancient Qilin Cave, and the ancient Crocodile Lake. All of them had Chaos Tao Masters level ancient ancestors awakening. It could be said that the immortal battle had reached its climax, and there was no way to ease it. Either the Jun family or the 7 immortal forces would die. Therefore, it was impossible to hold back at all, and all kinds of foundation were revealed. Some trump cards would not be taken out until the very last moment. For example, the Wang family's ancestor would reduce his vitality and lifespan by a lot every time he came out. But now, as long as they could destroy the Jun family, everything was negotiable. TSK, with so many Chaos Tao Masters showing up, even the 8 ancestors of the Jun family can't handle it, right? Some people looked at the Jun family. The reason why they did not think that the Jun family would have more great ancestors showing up. It was rumored that the top great ancestors of the Jun family were not buried in the Jun family's ancestral hall. Therefore, it was impossible for them to show up at this moment. In other words, the Jun family now only had one Chaos Tao Master, the 8th ancestor Jun Tianming. However, he had to resist the attack of several Chaos Tao Masters. How could he resist it? The Jun family should be destroyed too. The old azure dragon of the lair of Zulong stretched out its dragon claw. Its terrifying power could even crush an ancient planet with life with one claw. The ancient Qilin Cave and other great ancestors of the Archean royalty also showed up. The Wang family's ancestor and the fallen god Palace's slayer also showed up. Only the sacred sect did not have a Chaos Tao Master level foundation because it came from other immortal realms and did not have a strong foundation. He watched as the 6 Chaos Tao Masters struck out together. Jun Xiaoyao frowned. He did not know if the 8 ancestors could withstand it. Jun Tianming, the 8 ancestors of the Jun family, stood in the sky with his hands behind his back, looking at the terrifying attacks coming from all directions. That kind of terrifying power could wipe the entire Emperor state from the map of the immortal realms. However, there was not a trace of fear in Jun Tianming's eyes. He spoke slowly, and there was a kind of solemnity and respect in his voice. Your Majesty, please issue a decree. Chapter 5:16. As soon as Jun Tianming finished speaking, Tianming's expression changed. Inside the ancestral hall of the Jun family, a powerful aura of the Emperor surged. A vast golden light was boiling, and the aura shook the entire Huangtian mystic realm. What a terrifying aura of the Emperor! Could it be another Emperor weapon? No, it's not an Emperor weapon. All the important figures of the Huangtian mystic realm stared at the Jun family. They wanted to know what else the Jun family had up their sleeves. Under everyone's gaze, a golden decree appeared in the ancestral hall of the Jun family. The decree expanded in the wind, shining with a golden light. The majestic aura of the emperor soared into the sky, as if it had turned into a golden canopy, covering the sky of the Huangtian mystic realm. That is. At that moment, billions of people in the Huangtian mystic realm felt a tremor in their souls. It was as if a supreme god had awakened and was looking down at them from the sky. The golden decree was like a golden canopy in the sky. There were 2 lines of words engraved on it. The heavenly way's coronation is but a burden. I will prove my Tao and become an immortal through 10,000 tribulations. Every single word was like an ancient golden star that was revolving, and it emanated an unruly and powerful will that defied the heavens. This is the decree left behind by the legendary emperor of the Jun family, Jun Qitian. Many old antiques and living fossils could not help but exclaim. Their eyes were filled with endless shock. Jun Qitian was definitely a legendary figure of the Jun family. His talent was unparalleled, just like Jun Xiaoyao now. As for how monstrous his innate talent was, even the heavens had sent down the seal of proving Tao. As long as Jun Qitian merged with himself, he would become a great emperor in the future, and there would be no obstacles or difficulties. Some people even said that Jun Qitian was the manifestation of the will of the 9 heavens mystic realm. However, to everyone's surprise, Jun Qitian, who was young and powerful, directly abandoned the seal of proving Tao that the heavens had sent down. He said the words that had been passed down through the ages. The heavenly way's coronation is but a burden. I will prove my Tao and become an immortal through 10,000 tribulations. Later on, Jun Qitian did not let the Jun family down. He became the youngest great emperor in the history of the Jun family, and was known as the heaven-abandoning great emperor. Right now, the decree that Jun Tianming had taken out was a decree left behind by the heaven-abandoning great emperor. The decree left behind by the great emperor was so powerful that it could shake the universe. Countless stars in outer space were crushed into dust by this vast and terrifying emperor aura. The void trembled like a piece of paper as countless spatial cracks spread out in all directions. This scene was like the end of the world, and the world was going to return to chaos. This was hard to imagine. It was merely a single page of a law decree, yet it possessed such destructive power. How powerful would a true great emperor be? Heaven-abandoning great emperor? Jun Xiaoyao muttered as he looked up. The heaven-abandoning martial emperor was indeed worthy of respect. But Jun Xiaoyao was full of youthful vigor. His chest was filled with lofty sentiments. He believed that he would not be weaker than this ancestor. His goal was to surpass him. As the great emperor's decree was taken out, the ancient ancestor of the Wang family, Azure Dragon, and the other chaotic Tao masters felt an extremely terrifying emperor aura coming toward them, intending to destroy them. No, it's just a single page of a law decree. How can it suppress us? Azure Dragon let out a dragon roar that reverberated through the sky. Endless mountains and rivers collapsed because of this roar. But it was still useless. Terrifying pressure came down, accompanied by the radiance of the great emperor's decree. The Azure Dragon's scales on Azure Dragon's body shattered inch by inch, and dragon blood splattered everywhere. His mountain-like dragon body pressed down on the ground, causing a misty mist to rise from the ground. The ancient ancestor of the Wang family, the slayer of the fallen god palace, and the others all spat out blood. They were injured by this terrifying power. The ancient golden characters on the great emperor's decree shone with divine light, and they swept down like golden swords. Jun Tianming held the great emperor's decree in his hand. Although he was only a chaotic Tao master, he was able to make the other 6 chaotic Tao masters fall back and cough out blood. especially the ancient ancestor of the Wang family. His vitality was already declining, and he did not have much time left. Now that he was injured, his life was like a candle in the wind. Ancient ancestor. On Wang family's side, many cultivators were crying out in grief, miserable and miserable. Wang Yuanba was bleeding from the corner of his mouth, and his hair was disheveled. He did not expect the Wang family to fall to this point. He did not expect the Jun family to have such a strong foundation. What he didn't expect was Jun Xiaoyao and his emperor's court. Jun Xiaoyao and the Jun family were far beyond Wang Yuanba's expectations. On the other side, Jun Tianming glanced at the ancient ancestor of the Wang family and shook his head. Since half of your body is already in the ground, let me send you on your way. Jun Tianming activated the great emperor's decree and focused on attacking the ancient ancestor of the Wang family. The ancient ancestor of the Wang family tried his best to resist. The chaotic Tao law filled the void, and he seemed to control a terrifying power that could destroy the world between his fingers. However, under the suppression of Jun Tianming and the great emperor's decree, the ancient ancestor of the Wang family was powerless. His body began to crumble inch by inch. However, after the crack, the chaotic Tao law filled the air, and as if time was reversed, his body began to heal. Is this the chaotic Tao master's technique? Many people were shocked to see the state of the ancient ancestor of the Wang family. As expected of a terrifying 7th-level supreme being, his means were truly breathtaking. Humph, your final struggle. In response, Jun Tianming's old eyes showed a hint of mockery. After a while, the great emperor's decree vibrated again. The ancient ancestor of the Wang family's body was torn apart again, and drops of Tao master blood fell, annihilating the living beings below. I can't accept this. The ancient ancestor of the Wang family roared in grief and anger. He was not only angry because he was about to die, but also because of the fate of the Wang family. If he died, would the Wang family still survive? This is the consequence of messing with the Jun family. There was no trace of compassion in Jun Tianming's eyes. If he did not punish the Wang family as an example, the world would think that the Jun family was easy to bully. Splat. In the end, under the might of the great emperor's decree, the ancient ancestor of the Wang family's body crumbled inch by inch. Endless Tao law rushed out and then collapsed instantly. At this level of cultivation, every inch of the body contained Tao law. However, the golden light from the great emperor's decree fell like a sword that cut through the sky, cutting off all the divine chains of the ancient ancestor of the Wang family's vitality completely. His physical body's Tao law, together with the primordial spirit's Tao law, collapsed like chains breaking. His life was ended. The ancient ancestor of the Wang family exploded. The space around him turned into a chaotic void, and the Tao law was broken. This was the terrifying scene when a Tao master died. The world was in chaos and returned to nothingness. The area turned into a vacuum, indicating the fact that a chaotic Tao master had died. The ancient ancestor of the Wang family had died. Chapter 5:17. At this moment, everyone in the Wang family felt as if the sky had collapsed. However, for the Wang family, the sky had indeed collapsed. Even the pillars that supported the sky had collapsed. Could the Wang family still survive? Wang Yuanba's heart trembled violently. His blood flowed backward, and he spat out a large mouthful of blood. He stared at Jun Xiaoyao. The source of all this was Jun Xiaoyao. Feeling Wang Yuanba's murderous intent, Jun Xiaoyao's expression was cold. Before he could speak, Fang Xunyang twisted her slim waist, broke through the void, and blasted a palm toward Wang Yuanba. Wang Yuanba naturally could not resist the attack of a supreme mystic venerable. In less than 2 moves, Wang Yuanba was killed by Fang Xunyang amidst a miserable howl. You really have a death wish. Fang Xunyang clapped her jade-like hands, a trace of disdain in her beautiful eyes. Jun Xiaoyao looked at this scene and sighed softly. The Wang family is completely finished. It was not only the Wang family that was finished. The other 5 chaotic Tao masters were also in an extremely bad situation. Jun Tianming could suppress the 5 of them with the great emperor's decree. Then, Jun Tianming began to target the next person. The chaotic Tao master of the ancient crocodile lake did not hold on for long. He also followed in the footsteps of the Wang family's ancient ancestor. In an unwilling roar, his physical body collapsed and the rules were destroyed. Then, the chaotic Tao masters of the ancient Qilin cave and the Wanhuang spirit mountain followed. They did not choose to escape because there was no way to escape. Their roots were in the Huangtian mystic realm. If they escaped alone, their clansmen and forces would be finished. Although there was no lack of top experts who were indifferent by nature and only wanted to live alone. But these ancient ancestors of the Archean royalty valued the continuation of their bloodline very much. Naturally, they could not watch the bloodline of their clan be completely cut off. As a result, the primal chaos primal ancestors of the 2 primeval royal families had also perished. In the blink of an eye, only Azure Dragon of Zulong and the Killer Master of Fallen God Palace were left. It's over, above the starry sky. The hearts of Long Han and the others turned cold when they saw this scene. Anyone with a discerning eye could see that the Archean royalty had lost its momentum. In this immortal battle, the scales of victory had already tilted towards the Jun family. The Jun family really can't be provoked. No wonder it's called the 8th most inconceivable thing. It's truly an eye-opener, and I feel that this isn't the full extent of the Jun family's strength, as expected of a force that has been passed down for countless eras. With the battle of the immortals coming to an end, which immortal force in the entire Huangtian mystic realm would dare to mess with the Jun family? The lords of various immortal forces in the Huangtian mystic realm sighed. They were wary of the Jun family, but at the same time they were in awe. Just as Jun Tianming was about to make another move to end this immortal battle once and for all, suddenly, he felt an inexplicable sense of danger from the bottom of his heart. Jun Tianming's eyes instantly turned cold. He looked into the distance as if he could see through the endless void and see the scenes of other mystic realms. Do you really dare to do this? Jun Tianming's eyes were extremely cold. What's going on? Many old antiques and important figures also vaguely felt that something was wrong. Just as everyone was extremely puzzled. In the depths of the distant starry sky, in another mystic realm, a terrifying dragon claw crossed countless stars and reached for the Huangtian mystic realm's emperor state. That dragon claw was incomparably huge and squeezed the starry sky. In front of this dragon claw, ancient planets of life were directly smashed into pieces and turned into drifting fragments in the dark universe. That aura, at this moment, in the Huangtian mystic realm, all the old antiques felt their scalps go numb, and the blood in their bodies seemed to be about to freeze. That dragon claw actually crossed the mystic realm to attack. What kind of terrifying means was this? Boundary Emperor, some of the Supreme's mouths were trembling. That aura, that means, that kind of pressure. There was no doubt that it was the power of a Boundary Emperor. And the one who attacked was a Boundary Emperor from another mystic realm. The Dragon King Palace. Jun Tianming's eyes revealed traces of coldness. He also knew in his heart that it was probably because of Zulong. After all, Zulong and the Dragon King Palace of that mystic realm had a faint relationship. So what if it's a Boundary Emperor? The immortal battle of my Jun family is not for the immortal forces of other mystic realms to interfere. Jun Tianming snorted coldly. The great emperor's decree hung high in the sky of the Huangtian mystic realm, like a golden canopy covering the sky. The huge dragon claw that crossed the endless starry sky collided with the great emperor's decree, bursting out billions of waves. This kind of wave was extremely shocking. The ripples that spread out caused the stars within a radius of hundreds of millions of miles to explode into powder. It's too terrifying. Is this the power of a boundary emperor? In the Huangtian mystic realm, countless creatures looked up at the void. The power of the great emperor's decree was unquestionable. With this decree, Jun Tianming could easily kill a chaotic Tao lord of the same level. But the dragon claw from the other mystic realms could resist the power of the great emperor's decree. This was the power of a supreme boundary emperor. But even so, the mysterious dragon claw could not break the great emperor's decree, let alone endanger the Jun family. Damn it, it's not enough. Long Han secretly gritted his teeth. If there were more reinforcements, there might be a chance for this immortal battle to turn the tables. Just as Long Han was thinking about this in his heart, in another mystic realm far away, a golden palm with a vast light broke through hundreds of millions of layers of space and reached for the Jun family. The Holy Gulan sect. Jun Tianming's face fell again. The Holy Gulan sect of the Huangtian mystic realm was a branch of the Holy Gulan sect. The Holy Gulan sect's main branch was not in the Huangtian mystic realm. It's the supreme bishop of the main branch coming to the rescue. Seeing this, the sacred leader's eyes showed a touch of relief. The supreme bishop of the main branch was a supreme boundary emperor who controlled the power of faith of hundreds of millions of creatures. The immortal battle in the Huangtian mystic realm was so great that it had already alarmed the other 8 mystic realms. At this moment, seeing that the branch of the Holy Gulan sect in the Huangtian mystic realm was in danger, the supreme bishop of the main branch of the Holy Gulan sect also came to the rescue. But that was not all. In another immortal realm, another black hand with a monstrous black mist and a murderous aura tore through the sky and arrived. Countless ancient planets with life and drifting stars along the way were smashed into powder by this black hand. The lineage of Hades. Jun Tianming's expression was extremely cold. Even he did not expect that these forces would be so bold as to interfere in the immortal battle of the Jun family. As expected, the lineage of Hades has come to the rescue. The slayer of the fallen god Pallas breathed a sigh of relief and relaxed. The prince of Hades of the fallen god Pallas had the bloodline of the ancient one-armed Hades. In the end, he was killed by Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao had unknowingly become enemies with the lineage of Hades. However, whether it was the Dragon King Pallas, the Holy Gulan sect, or the lineage of Hades, they were all ancient immortal forces that were comparable to the Jun family. The true Lord of Gulan of the Holy Gulan sect and the one-armed Hades of the lineage of Hades. They were all legendary great emperors who were worthy of being worshipped as gods. But even a true deity wouldn't dare to touch the Jun family. At this moment, all forces in the Huangtian mystic realm were watching. Zulong, the fallen god Pallas, the Holy Gulan sect, and other immortal forces were even more excited. They still had a chance to turn the tables. Jun Tianming could use the great emperor's decree to block the attack of the Dragon King Pallas's boundary emperor. But it was impossible to block the bishop of the Holy Gulan sect and the terrifying powerhouses of the lineage of Hades. Everyone felt that this immortal battle might really come to an end. At the same time, in the distant starry sky, the corpse of the ancient winged dragon pulled a pitch-black coffin and drifted in the void of the universe for an unknown period of time. It might have been several eras or even longer, but at this moment when the Jun family was besieged, the pitch-black coffin began to tremble all of a sudden. Then, the entire coffin was broken open. A leisurely voice suddenly sounded. "I have dreamed of thousands of autumns, but what year is it now?" As these ancient words were spoken, the entire universe was in an uproar. Endless chaotic chi of the universe, as well as the essence of the stars and the void spiritual chi, all rushed into the coffin. An old man who had been in a deep sleep for a long time slowly opened his eyes. He was wearing an ancient robe from an unknown number of eras as he slowly rose from the coffin. There seemed to be two ancient and vicissitudes of the universe hidden in his eyes. "You ignorant fool, how dare a mere first tribulation boundary emperor attack the Jun family?" This old man was the sixth patriarch of the Jun family, Jun Taishin, who had drifted in outer space for countless eras, waiting for the opportunity to attain Tao. Chapter 518. Among the ancestors of the Jun family, only some of the younger ancestors were sleeping in the Jun family's ancestral hall. As for the other ancient ancestors, they were either drifting in outer space or slumbering in some blessed land. They were waiting for an opportunity to achieve enlightenment. Jun Taishin, the sixth ancestor of the Jun family, was one of them. However, he was the ancestor closest to the Jun family. He was also responsible for protecting the Jun family. If the Jun family was attacked by terrifying experts, this ancestor would wake up from his slumber. At this moment, he saw the experts of the Dragon King Palace, the Gulen sect, and the Underworld King bloodline crossing the immortal realms to attack the Jun family. The sixth ancestor of the Jun family's eyes were filled with coldness that could freeze the universe. Is it because the Jun family has been quiet for too long that the other immortal forces in the Nine Heavens immortal realm think that we can be bullied as they wish? Jun Taishin said coldly. The surrounding void of the universe trembled with his words. Jun Taishin made his move. He took out a peachwood sword. It looked tattered and decayed, but it had a terrifying power that could cut through everything in the world and cut off the river of time. Whoosh! Jun Taishin swung the peachwood sword horizontally. A terrifying sword aura that stretched for hundreds of millions of feet swept out. It seemed to cut half the sky and cut the void in half. The huge stars floating in the starry sky were shattered into pieces by the sword aura before they could even touch it. The terrifying sword aura swept toward the huge dragon claw. Puff! The Quasi-Emperor's dragon claw was cut in half with a single blow. Dragon blood splattered out, dyeing half of the starry sky crimson. Vaguely, a muffled groan and a surprised whisper came from that immortal realm. The sixth ancestor of the Jun family, the broken dragon claw was retracted along with the fearful voice. The scene of the dragon claw being cut in half was witnessed by almost every living thing in the Huangtian immortal realm. The Zulong Azure Dragon's eyes were filled with shock when he saw the Quasi-Emperor's dragon claw being cut in half by the terrifying sword aura that traveled across the universe. Supreme Longhan was even more dumbfounded. His heart was completely cold. The Jun family still has a foundation. Ancient ancestor Taishin has awakened. Jun Tianming smiled when he saw this. Everyone in the Huangtian mystic realm was shocked. However, before they could recover from their shock, two more astral swords that pierced through the starry sky swept over. One of them swept towards the Supreme Bishop of the Holy Church of Gulen. One of them swept towards the terrifying experts from the Nether King bloodline. Boom! Their attacks collided, shattering the endless void. Even the sky was destroyed. How terrifying was a battle between quasi-emperors! Even though it was only in the outer realm, the terrifying fluctuations made the countless beings in the Huangtian mystic realm shudder in fear. It felt as if the universe had been destroyed and turned into dust. The two quasi-emperors also stopped, not daring to overstep their boundaries. Humph, the Jun family will remember this. Jun Taishin stood in the middle of the universe, his face cold. The other ancestors of the Jun family were either in hibernation in faraway places or searching for opportunities in mysterious places. Therefore, it was not appropriate for the Jun family to cross the immortal realms and launch an interrealm war at the moment. However, just because they couldn't do it now didn't mean they couldn't do it in the future. The grudge had been formed. Jun Taishin looked at the Huangtian mystic realm again, his eyes flashing with disdain. Now, any Tom, Dick, and Harry dares to provoke my Jun family? As soon as Jun Taishin finished speaking, he swung the rotten peach wood sword in his hand again. A horrifying astral sword, filled with the rules of sword, pierced through the Huangtian mystic realm. It was heading towards the Zulong of the Hong Prefecture. Strictly speaking, Zulong was the one who started the battle of the immortals. At this moment, All the remaining beings in the Zulong of the Hong Prefecture felt a terrifying heavenly might descend. It was as if the apocalypse was about to engulf them in the Zulong. Not only the Zulong, but most of the beings in the entire Hong Prefecture also felt a destructive force. 99% of the living beings in Hong State were from the archaic races. When they felt the destructive power, their eyes were filled with fear, and their minds were shaken to the core. Boom! The astral sword, filled with the rules of sword, fell on the Hong Prefecture. The mountains and rivers boiled, and the continent sank as if it had been split into countless plates. The entire Hong province, together with the lair of Zulong, was annihilated into nothingness by the sword. Countless beings from the far ancient races were crushed into dust by the rules of sword. It was only one sword. The entire Hong Prefecture was destroyed. The 3,000 prefectures of the Huangtian mystic realm became 2,999 prefectures. This was the power of an emperor candidate. The beings in the Zulong Prefecture turned pale at the sight of this. Their eyes were filled with despair. The old azure dragon even let out a roar toward the sky. It was furious to the extreme. Longhan Supreme's eyes were also filled with despair. The Zulong Prefecture was doomed. Let this battle of the immortals end here. Jun Tianming shook his head slightly. Jun Taishuan's means had shocked all the forces. Even the leaders of the immortal forces of the other mystic realms were shocked and didn't dare to cross the line. After swinging the sword, Jun Tianxian yawned and lay back in the coffin. The pitch-black coffin fell silent again. The corpse of the winged dragon pulled it and continued to drift in the universe. Perhaps the next time Jun Taixian woke up would be when the Jun family crossed the mystic realms and started the Battle of the Immortals. At this point, the outcome of the Battle of the Immortals was obvious. Everyone knew that the 7 immortal forces were finished. Jun Xiaoyao, on the other hand, had a deep look in his eyes as he looked at the universe in the sky. How dare you interfere with the Battle of the Immortals of the Jun family? I, the Son of God, will remember this. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were cold. Jun Xiaoyao only wanted to kill the immortals who wanted to take advantage of the opportunity to sneak up on him. If he had the ability in the future, he would destroy the immortals even if he had to cross the mystic realms. As for the top geniuses of the immortals, if Jun Xiaoyao encountered them on the Emperor's road in the future, he wouldn't hold back. Jun Xiaoyao didn't need to do anything in the following battles. Everything had come to an end. The 7 immortals had lost their momentum and could only flee in panic. Azure Dragon of Zulong and the Slayer of the Fallen God Palace were also killed by Jun Tianming with the Great Emperor's decree. Long Han and the others were also besieged by the ancestors of the Jun family. Jun Xiaoyao's emperor's court also swept the area. The armies of the 7 immortals fled in panic, leaving behind countless corpses. Blood flowed on the ground and corpses piled up into mountains. The entire sky of the Huangtian mystic realm was covered in a bloody mist. The original territory of Hong State had become a huge, deep pit. All kinds of terrifying sword chi and astral winds howled and roared. Even though countless years had passed, it was impossible for any living beings to step into this area. This was because they would be destroyed by the rule of sword left behind. The outcome of the Battle of the Immortals had been decided. What the Jun family and Emperor's court had to do next was to eliminate the weeds and harvest the spoils of war. Chapter 519. The Battle of the Immortals that had shaken the entire Huangtian mystic realm, and even the 9 heavens mystic realm, had finally come to an end. The wind, forest, fire, mountain, Gantian sacred guards, and the immortal ancient army of the Jun family chased after the armies of the 7 immortals for 7 days, across more than a dozen prefectures. Countless corpses and bones were piled up along the way, and blood gathered into rivers that meandered on the ground. Countless mountains were shattered, and there were many cracks on the ground, like a huge rift valley, winding all over. It could be said that the Battle of the Immortals had a far-reaching impact. It was a vast battle that was enough to be recorded in history. This battle caused a huge loss to the Archean royalty. Zulong was directly destroyed by Jun Taishuan's sword. Wanhuang's Spirit Mountain, Qilin Ancient Cave, and Ancient Crocodile Lake were also attacked by the Jun family's army. Although they still had some strength left, and with the help of various protective arrays, they were just cornered beasts struggling before death. As for the remaining members of the sacred sect, a wormhole suddenly opened while they were fleeing. The remaining strength of the sacred sect, along with the scepter of light, was sucked into it. Many people's eyelids twitched when they saw this. It was probably the sacred sect of Gulen's method. There was also a black vortex on the side of the fallen god palace, which also took away the fallen god bell and a small number of the fallen god palace's experts. It was the method of the Nether King bloodline. As for the Wang family, they weren't so lucky. Jun Xiaoyao personally led the forces of the Jun family to attack the Wang family. The Wang family also had a few remaining experts who stayed in their ancestral land, and there was a powerful protective array. However, in front of an old blind man and the other 3 supreme mystic venerables, this resistance was just a mantis trying to stop a chariot. Soon, the army of the Jun family attacked the Wang family. One had to admit that the ancestral land of an immortal ancient force was very magnificent. There was a fairy island floating in the void, and waterfalls fell down like silver chains. Celestial flowers spat out clouds, auspicious grass competed with each other, and spiritual birds and beasts jumped around. Looking at this paradise, Jun Xiaoyao said calmly, "Remember, you're from the Jun family. You can't take a single needle or a piece of thread." Aot Songyuan, the Li Xian, and the others all revealed confused looks upon hearing those words. When did Jun Xiaoyao become so kind? Then, Jun Xiaoyao coughed dryly. But apart from a single needle and thread, everything else must be burned, looted, and killed. This. Some of the ancestors from the immortal races were speechless. However, there was an inner taste. Jun Xiaoyao was still the same old Jun Xiaoyao. He hadn't changed at all. Would one still be human if they didn't exploit their enemies to the very end? However, it was a good thing for the Emperor dynasty. When the monarch imperial court was first established, it was in need of resources. The Wang family and the other immortal powers had started the War of the Immortals, which meant that they were giving up their resources to the Jun family and the Emperor's Hall. Very soon, the monarch dynasty's troops arrived at the Wang clan and slaughtered them all. There were all kinds of precious herbs, sacred pills, ancient sacred weapons, divine ability jade slips, ancient weapons, and so on. Apart from a small portion that was destroyed by the Wang family, the rest of the resources fell into the hands of the monarch dynasty. Jun Xiaoyao didn't care about these resources. With his current vision, he wouldn't be interested in anything unless it was something he really needed. Apart from the monarch dynasty, the Jun family's troops also began to massacre all the forces that participated in the war. Zulong had been destroyed, so there was no need to talk about it. Wanhuang's Spirit Mountain, Qilin Ancient Cave, and Ancient Crocodile Lake were also destroyed by the Jun family's Gantian Sacred Guard. Apart from a few survivors of the fallen god palace and the saints sect who escaped through the wormhole, most of the others were killed. As for the imperial weapons, the Phoenix Wing Golden Centipede, Qilin Wheel, Wild Crocodile Tooth, and Northern Emperor Ruler, they all fell into the hands of the Jun family. The ancestral Dragon Chopper, Fallen God Bell, and Scepter of Light broke into the void on their own. They must have been secretly taken by the Dragon King Palace, the lineage of the Nether King, and the Saint sect of Gulen. However, the Jun family didn't lack imperial weapons at all, so they didn't really care. What was left were the prefectures occupied by the 7 immortal powers. The Jun family had also taken over large tracts of land. All kinds of resources were taken away by the Jun family. At this point, the Jun family's strength skyrocketed again. Other than that, the Demon Ox Mountain, the Cave of Silks, the Snake King Valley, and other far ancient royal families were also destroyed by the Jun family's followers. The Jun family didn't take over the resources and territories of the far ancient royal families. Instead, they directly distributed them to the affiliated forces, such as the Purple Mansion Sacred Ground, the Four Symbols Ancient Kingdom, and so on. The leaders of these forces were also very happy. They did not have to pay a high price to obtain such rich resources. Their loyalty to the Jun family had undoubtedly increased once again. The immortal battle made the Jun family, which already had a rich foundation, even more powerful. From now on, the immortal powers of the Huangtian mystic realm will probably have to rely on the Jun family. That's right. Unless they have the foundation of a quasi-emperor, which immortal powers would dare to provoke the Jun family. Many leaders of the immortal powers sighed. In the little western paradise, an ancient monk sighed. It's said that good will be rewarded with good, and evil with evil. Nothing can escape karma. However, the son of God of the Jun family killed Fahai and Miao Wuxin, but he didn't receive any punishment. Although Fahai and the others were also at fault. The Jun family has the ability to control and even cut off karma. Such a force is too terrifying, a few ancient monks in the little western paradise sighed. The Jun family didn't fall into the mortal world and was independent of karma. In addition, the Ji family and the Yi family also began to re-evaluate the Jun family's strength. Especially the Ji family, who had always been ambitious and wanted to take the Jun family's position as one of the three families. Now it seemed that the Ji family was indeed dreaming. Unless the great emperor of the Ji family, who wielded the void mirror, returned to the mortal world, there was no way they could compete with the Jun family. The Jiang family was proud of this. Jiang Daoshu smiled and said, "The smartest decision that the Jiang family made was to be tied to the Jun family through marriage for generations." Of course, the Jiang family had a strong foundation, and they didn't just take advantage of the Jun family. If the Jun family was in danger, the Jiang family wouldn't stay out of it. In addition, the immortal sect, the demonic sect, the demon god palace, and other immortal powers also re-evaluated the Jun family. The elder of the demonic sect was regretful. If they had taken the initiative to help the Jun family, they might have been able to eat a big mouthful of meat now. Unfortunately, the Jun family wouldn't let forces that didn't contribute have a share of the pie. At this point, the battle of the immortals that swept across the Huangtian mystic realm officially came to an end. Countless creatures in the Huangtian mystic realm were talking about this battle of the immortals. They were amazed at the Jun family's unfathomable foundation. There was also a name that couldn't be ignored. It was none other than Jun Xiaoyao. Chapter 520. Some of the powerhouses had already vaguely anticipated that the Jun family might have a shocking background. However, they never expected Jun Xiaoyao's performance. You might not know what it means to be able to stop 3 immortal factions on your own. Normally, we would only use 2 words to describe such a person. Anomaly. Jun Xiaoyao was an anomaly in the world. He could not be judged by common sense. You might think he was only a little strong. However, he was terrifyingly strong. He controlled one of the 7 incredible bronze immortal palaces. He led the army of the immortal ancient era. He established a powerful faction, the Emperor's imperial court. He even had 4 supreme mystic highnesses willing to fight for him. All of this was done by an 18-year-old young man. What was even more shocking was the fact that Jun Xiaoyao was the youngest and most powerful saint in history. He even set the record of killing 100 saints with a cauldron in the same cultivation level. Jun Xiaoyao's brilliance did not need to be described. Even if it was not recorded in history, his deeds would still be spread around the immortal realm. However, to Jun Xiaoyao, it was nothing more than an success. After witnessing the strength of the Hundun Dao Master and the Boundary Monarch, Jun Xiaoyao's goal was even clearer. He wanted to be the person who stood above the ancient times, unbeatable in both the past and the present. On top of that, Jun Xiaoyao also wanted to make the Emperor's imperial court the strongest faction in the 9 heavens immortal realm. The Battle of Immortals was a good start. After the Battle of Immortals, it was time to distribute the spoils. The June clan had obtained 4 monarch weapons: the phoenix-winged gold-plated centipede, the Qilin wheel, the wild alligator's broken tooth, and the Bei Huang ruler. The June clan was very generous too. They gave the 4 monarch weapons to Jun Xiaoyao right away. It was equivalent to giving them to the emperor's imperial court. Jun Xiaoyao already had the creation Qi cauldron. The supreme-grade supreme weapon had great potential. Jun Xiaoyao was quite used to it. It felt great to use it to smash people. He was also preparing to search for all sorts of materials to properly nurture the myriad Qi cauldron. Thus, Jun Xiaoyao did not care about those imperial armament. With his current strength, he was unable to fully unleash the power of those imperial armament. Instead, the myriad Qi cauldron was more suitable for him. Furthermore, if he continued to nurture it, it could become his Tao-confirming artifact in the future. Jun Xiaoyao did not stand on ceremony with his family. After accepting the 4 emperor weapons, he directly handed them over to an old blind man and the others. An old blind man and the others were surprised to see Jun Xiaoyao handing the imperial armament to them without any hesitation. "Brat, this is a rare emperor armament. You're giving it to us just like that?" An old blind man had a look of disbelief on his face. "Seniors, you are the most powerful people in the imperial court. I'm relieved to hand it over to you supreme elders," Jun Xiaoyao said with a smile. "As expected of little brother Xiaoyao. I love you so much." Fang Xunyang's voluptuous Linglong's body leaned over to Jun Xiaoyao again. "Haha, brat, since you're so generous, I won't stand on ceremony. I like this phoenix wing golden centipede." The parrot cackled. It was a bird, so the emperor armament in the Wanhuang Spirit Mountain was obviously the most suitable for it. An old blind man and a cripple also sighed in their hearts. They suddenly felt that their choice was very correct. There was no need to say more about Jun Xiaoyao's potential. Moreover, he had the terrifying Jun family behind him. Jun Xiaoyao was really worth following. In addition to the emperor armament, the Jun family had combined the spoils of war obtained from the 7 immortal forces. The imperial court had obtained a large amount of resources. The Jun family also promised to give some of the immortal ancient forces fiefs to the immortal ancient races so that they could have ancestral lands in the Huangtian mystic realm. This made Li Xian, Ao Tsang-yuan, and the other great ancestors of the immortal ancient races very happy. Not only did they have freedom, but they also had their own ancestral land. This made them even more determined to follow Jun Xiaoyao and be loyal to the imperial court. After the immortal battle ended, the Jun family also held another banquet. This banquet was a compensation for the coming-of-age ceremony. The Jun family didn't deliberately invite any forces. However, many immortal ancient forces in the Huangtian mystic realm took the initiative to come and congratulate them. The vice-hierarch of the Rinxian sect has arrived. Here are 100 celestial sources and 10 heaven jades. The vice-hierarch of the demonic celestial cult has arrived. Here are 1 supreme artifact and 5 immortal herbs. The Holy Spirit College has arrived. Here are the Demon God Palace has arrived. Here are the Ji family has arrived. Here are the Yi family has arrived. Here are, one after another, immortal forces came to congratulate the Jun family. The gifts they brought were far more precious than before. The Lord of the Panwu Jin dynasty has arrived. Another voice rang out. Haha, this emperor has specially come to congratulate the Son of God of the Jun family. The Son of God is indeed a celestial being. This emperor's daughter has good taste. When God Lord Panwu arrived, the smile on his face was indescribably amiable. Especially when he saw Jun Xiaoyao, the smile on his face was incomparably amiable. When Jun Xiaoyao saw God Lord Panwu, there was a hint of playfulness in his eyes. Before, God Lord Panwu hated him to the core. Not only did he make the Panwu Jin dynasty lose face, but he even took away the imperial weapon. But now, God Lord Panwu seemed to have changed into a different person. He was actually showing goodwill to him. The son of God of the Jun family is indeed a dragon among men. Let those small misunderstandings and unhappiness from before vanish like smoke in thin air. God Lord Panwu chuckled. Now, not to mention the Jun family, just the imperial court was extremely intimidating to the Panwu Jin dynasty. God Lord Panwu naturally didn't dare to offend Jun Xiaoyao anymore. When the guests of the surrounding forces saw this, they couldn't help but ridicule. He was really shameless and invincible in the world. God Lord Panwu's skin was really thick. Following that, the banquet was filled with joy and harmony. Jun Xiaoyao also sent out a message that the imperial court would also recruit forces and talents in the Huangtian mystic realm. When this news came out, many people's eyes flashed. Was Jun Xiaoyao going to establish another immortal force independently of the Jun family? However, when they thought of the lineup of the imperial court, many people felt a chill run down their spines. 4 imperial weapons. 4 supreme elders of the mystic venerable level. There were also a group of supreme grand ancestors of the immortal ancient races. There were also hundreds of millions of immortal ancient armies. This was an incomparably terrifying force. Before he knew it, Jun Xiaoyao had created an immortal force of great power. The current Jun Xiaoyao could no longer be regarded as a junior. His current identity was not only the son of God of the Jun family and the young master of the Jiang family. He also had an additional identity, and that was the master of the imperial court. Just after Jun Xiaoyao released the news, something unexpected happened. God Lord Panwu actually said, "The Panwu Jin dynasty is willing to join the imperial court. I wonder if the Son of God welcomes us?" When these words fell, many people were dumbfounded. Was God Lord Panwu addicted to licking people's boots? Chapter 521. An immortal faction actually wanted to join the emperor's court. This had a huge impact. Although the Panwu Jin dynasty was weak and was at the bottom of the immortal factions, but at the very least, it still had the title of an immortal faction. Many people didn't expect that he would join the monarch imperial court like this. Oh! Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were deep. This God Lord Cobblestone Marshal was truly flexible. God Lord Panwu's gaze was firm. Naturally, he wasn't acting on impulse. Instead, he had thought about it carefully and discussed it with the old emperor and the others. Firstly, the Panwu Jin dynasty was weak and could no longer support the title of an immortal faction. Secondly, even the imperial weapon had been taken away by the Jun family, so they had lost a part of their foundation. Another point was that this era of great competition was destined to be full of ups and downs. The outer realm, the life-forbidden zone, and other places began to have some movement. If there were stormy waves in the future, whether the Panwu Jin dynasty could survive alone was a question mark. Instead of going with the flow, it was better to choose a thigh and hug it tightly. Joining the emperor's court was no different from joining the Jun family. Of course, an immortal faction is welcomed by the emperor's court. Jun Xiaoyao smiled. As for the loyalty of God Lord Panwu and the others, he believed that an old blind man and the others would naturally have a way. Moreover, the Jun family had just revealed their invincible strength, so God Lord Panwu probably wouldn't dare to have any thoughts. After that, there were also some first-rate and second-rate factions who wanted to join the emperor's court. Jun Xiaoyao didn't directly agree, but said that he would screen them later. Not just any cat or dog could join the emperor's court. Then, the banquet began, and Jun Xiaoyao also came to his family. He didn't like to socialize. Jun Zhantian, Jiang Ro, and the others had thick smiles on their faces. Jun Xiaoyao was really too proud of them. The youngest saint in history. The strongest saint in history. The youngest leader of an immortal faction in history. Jun Xiaoyao had single-handedly won 3 first-place titles in history. If Jun Xiaoyao was unable to attain Dao in this era, then all the other geniuses could forget about it. At the side, Jun Linglong, Jun Inger, Nalan Ruashi, and Baiyu also had stars in their eyes. Jun Xiaoyao's excellence was simply indescribable. You guys have been cultivating quite well, Jun Xiaoyao said with a faint smile. Jun Linglong shook her head and said, You flatter me. Our talents are only so. We can't even make it to the Emperor Road, unlike young master. She possessed the 7 orifices Linglong's heart and had the potential to become a saint. But now Jun Xiaoyao, who was younger than her, was already a saint. He was also the strongest saint in history. It doesn't matter. Everyone has their own ambitions. You don't have to go to the Emperor Road. At the very least, you have young master to protect you. What are you afraid of? Jun Xiaoyao smiled slightly. Jun Linglong and the other girls heard this and their hearts went numb. Their eyes were watery and filled with deep infatuation. On the other side, a passerby who didn't deserve to be named, the princess of the great Shang dynasty, also had a deep infatuation in her beautiful eyes. However, the gap between her and Jun Xiaoyao was now unimaginable. Jun Xiaoyao noticed the princess from the corner of his eye. He vaguely remembered that she seemed to have come to his 10-years-old banquet. Thinking of this, Jun Xiaoyao walked forward. Seeing Jun Xiaoyao's arrival, the princess of the great Shang dynasty's heart pounded. I remember that you also came to my 10-years-old banquet, right? Jun Xiaoyao said softly. Yes. The princess of the great Shang dynasty's cheeks were hot and her ears were red. She was extremely excited. Up close, Jun Xiaoyao's skin was crystal clear, his facial features were exquisite, and there was a pleasant fragrance on his body. The princess of the great Shang dynasty felt that she was about to faint. Thank you. Is the great Shang dynasty willing to join the emperor's court? Jun Xiaoyao asked. The great Shang dynasty was also a first-rate dynasty. Yes. The princess of the great Shang dynasty shouted almost without hesitation. Very good. Jun Xiaoyao smiled. She lowered her head and stammered shyly, Lord Son of God, my name is... She looked up only to find that Jun Xiaoyao had already walked back. The princess of the great Shang dynasty. Many young elites around sighed deeply when they saw this. We still don't know the real name of the princess of the great Shang dynasty. On the other side, Jun Xiaoyao came to Forget Chuan. Your performance was very good. Jun Xiaoyao nodded. Although he had planted a slave seal on Forget Chuan was indeed loyal to him and the Jun family. Forget Chuan will follow the Son of God forever. I will not disobey you in the slightest. Forget Chuan's eyes were also filled with admiration. He was completely impressed by Jun Xiaoyao's talent and strength. Other than admiration, he had no other thoughts. By the way, about the reincarnation demon sex treasury. Jun Xiaoyao lowered his voice. I've almost locked onto the location. Forget Chuan said. He was the only one who could find and open the treasury of the reincarnation demon sect. Very good. When the time comes, we'll go and find it directly. There's no need to be afraid of anything. Jun Xiaoyao smiled. The battle of the immortal had just ended. Jun Xiaoyao believed that no force would be so blind as to provoke the Jun family. At this time, Jiang Ro called Jun Xiaoyao over. Xing Yi and Luoli have already embarked on the Emperor's Road a year ago. Are you going to find them later? Jiang Ro asked. It depends if I can meet them, Jun Xiaoyao said. Xiaoyao, you don't know how much weight Luoli lost after you were trapped in the Bronze Immortal Palace. And Xing Yi's hair turned white overnight because of you. If you let them down, I won't forgive you, Jiang Ro said with some heartache. There's such a thing? Jun Xiaoyao did not expect this. Jiang Luoli might have some reaction, but Jiang Xingyi's hair turned white overnight because of him. This was beyond Jun Xiaoyao's expectations. Your relationship with Xing Yi is nothing. Plus, your physiques are compatible. Maybe you can give birth to an innate saint body in the future, Jiang Ro said. She kept talking about having a grandchild. We'll talk about this in the future. Jun Xiaoyao did not agree. He was ambiguous. His ambition was the emperor's road. He could not afford to be distracted. You. Jiang Ro shook her head. Jun Xiaoyao had such good conditions, but he did not care about women. The banquet came to an end. In the next few days, many geniuses and forces came to join the emperor's court. Jun Xiaoyao left this matter to Li Xian and the others. As for Li Qiuyue, she also met her sister Li Qiushui at the Jiang family. In the next few days, the entire Huangtian mystic realm fell into a short period of peace. However, this peace did not last long. Another piece of news spread throughout the Huangtian mystic realm. The treasure vault of the demon sect of reincarnation had appeared. On this day, the Jun family sent people to the treasure vault of the demon sect of reincarnation. Jun Xiaoyao also went with some people from the emperor's court. The treasure vault of the demon sect of reincarnation? The 6 paths of reincarnation disc. Jun Xiaoyao murmured. The thing that interested him the most in the treasure vault of the demon sect of reincarnation was the imperial weapon, the 6 paths of reincarnation disc. Chapter 522. The reason Jun Xiaoyao was interested in the 6 paths of reincarnation disc was not because he wanted to control this imperial weapon. Instead, Jun Xiaoyao wanted to use it to comprehend the path of reincarnation. After all, the second superpower of his supreme bone was the reincarnation superpower. Moreover, he was about to enter the Emperor Road. It would be good to have one more trump card. Jun Xiaoyao did not think that there was anyone in the Emperor Road who could threaten him. Many cultivators from the immortal forces around looked at the Jun family's team. Other than envy and jealousy, there was nothing else in their eyes. As for robbing? Unless there was something wrong with their heads, they would not do such a stupid thing. An immortal forces treasure vault. Together with the resources of the 7 immortal forces, the Jun family and Jun monarch's hall are going to go to heaven. Although they were envious, they could only look on with jealousy. Soon, under Wang Chuan's lead, they quickly found the reincarnation demon sect's treasure vault. The reincarnation demon sect's treasure vault was not only sealed by a hidden array on the outside. There was also a terrifying array secretly operating inside. If someone who was not from the reincarnation demon sect tried to break into the treasure vault by force, they would suffer great losses. The Great Reincarnation Array. The reincarnation demon sect's foundation is quite deep, Jun Zhantian murmured. He was the leader of this team. If they tried to break into the Great Reincarnation Array, they would lose their lives. However, with Wang Chuan around, all obstacles were not a problem. Wang Chuan activated his reincarnation sacred constitution and took out a jade seal. It was his identity jade seal as the reincarnation demon sect's holy son. Soon, Wang Chuan opened the treasure vault. The various resources inside were so dazzling that it blinded everyone's eyes. Even the members of the Jun family, who had high standards, were slightly speechless. These resources were comparable to those of the 7 immortal forces. However, no one from the Jun family came forward to collect them. Jun Xiaoyao was confused. Jun Zhantian saw this and smiled faintly. Xiaoyao, the family has decided to give the entire reincarnation demon sect's treasure vault to your monarch's hall. Wang Chuan was originally conquered by you. The reincarnation demon sect's treasure vault should belong to you. The family will also fully support your monarch emperor hall. Upon hearing Jun Zhantian's words, Jun Xiaoyao nodded. This was the boldness of a family that had been passed down for thousands of generations. Those clans that would fight to the death for some opportunities and treasures, even going as far as to engage in internal strife, how could they be passed down for hundreds of generations? Of course, there was reasonable competition, as long as it wasn't too excessive. However, it was obvious that no one in the younger generation of the Jun family was qualified to compete with Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao would naturally receive the greatest nurturing and attention. Jun Xiaoyao couldn't do that either. He had the Li Xian and the others arrange for the people of the Emperor's Hall to take all sorts of opportunities. At the same time, they followed the river of forgetfulness into the reincarnation demon sect's treasury. Jun Xiaoyao was immediately able to sense a thick power of reincarnation at the deepest part of the place. He looked into the distance and saw an ancient dark golden wheel floating in the middle of a formation. This dark golden wheel was engraved with the 6 realms of sentient beings. As it spun, it emitted a terrifying wave of reincarnation. It was as if it wanted to pull one's soul into the cycle of reincarnation. This was the reincarnation demon sect's imperial weapon, the 6 paths of reincarnation disc. What a strong power of reincarnation! Jun Xiaoyao sensed that the bone of supremacy in his chest seemed to be trembling slightly. "Grandpa, I want to cultivate in seclusion here for the time being," Jun Xiaoyao said. "Of course." Jun Zhantian nodded. Then, Jun Zhantian sent a group of Jun family's troops to guard outside the reincarnation demon sect's treasury to prevent other forces from disturbing them. Of course, they were just putting on an act. No one dared to provoke the Jun family. The people of the Emperor's Hall began to move the resources of the reincarnation demon sect's treasury. Jun Xiaoyao prepared to cultivate beside the 6 paths of reincarnation disc. "By the way, I'll remove the slave seal for you," Jun Xiaoyao looked at Wang Chuan and said. He had promised Wang Chuan that he would remove the slave seal for him after finding the reincarnation demon sect's treasury. "Thank you, young master." Wang Chuan was also a little excited. Although Jun Xiaoyao had never punished him with the slave seal. But with the slave seal, he always felt uncomfortable. With a thought, Jun Xiaoyao removed the slave seal for Wang Chuan. A hint of determination flashed in Wang Chuan's eyes. Suddenly, he knelt on one knee in front of Jun Xiaoyao and said, "Wang Chuan is willing to become young master's follower. I hope young master can fulfill my wish." Strictly speaking, Wang Chuan was only Jun Xiaoyao's servant before. He didn't have the status of a follower. Heh! Why not? You are this son of God's 3rd follower. Jun Xiaoyao said with a faint smile. Not only was he an ancient freak, but he also had the saint physique of reincarnation. Wang Chuan was indeed qualified to become his follower. "Thank you, young master." Wang Chuan's eyes were filled with excitement. He felt that he was following a future great emperor. Or even an immortal. "You have the saint physique of reincarnation. Cultivate with me with the help of the 6 paths of reincarnation disc," Jun Xiaoyao said. "Yes." Wang Chuan cupped his fists respectfully. Next, the two began to cultivate with the help of the 6 paths of reincarnation disc. Logically speaking, Wang Chuan should be more compatible with the 6 paths of reincarnation disc since he had the saint physique of reincarnation disc. However, to Wang Chuan's surprise, the reincarnation energy emanating from Jun Xiaoyao's body was stronger than his. That was because Jun Xiaoyao's supreme bone not only had the power of reincarnation, he also cultivated the supreme fist technique, the 6 paths of reincarnation fist. As his comprehension deepened, the 6 paths of reincarnation disc seemed to resonate with Jun Xiaoyao. The power of reincarnation in the 6 paths of reincarnation disc surged wildly into Jun Xiaoyao's body. In Jun Xiaoyao's chest, the supreme bone vibrated, and waves of reincarnation energy condensed continuously. Vaguely, there seemed to be a misty immortal qi emerging. That is, Wang Chuan's body shook, and his eyes were filled with shock. That was a wisp of reincarnation immortal qi. Wang Chuan was shocked. His master had not even entered the Emperor Road yet. How could he condense a wisp of immortal qi? If he knew that this was the 3rd wisp of immortal qi that Jun Xiaoyao had condensed, Wang Chuan would probably be dumbfounded. 3 wisps of immortal qi was enough to dominate an Emperor Road. However, the problem was that Jun Xiaoyao had not entered the Emperor Road yet. Just as Jun Xiaoyao was immersed in cultivation, preparing to completely condense the 3rd wisp of immortal qi. In the ancient Emperor Road, Those geniuses of the Huangtian mystic realm had already set foot on the Emperor Road a year ago. Therefore, it was naturally impossible for them to know what had happened in the Huangtian mystic realm. That was because of the special rules of the Emperor Road. Therefore, most of the information could not be transmitted to the Emperor Road. At this moment, in an ancient ruin on the Emperor Road, dozens of geniuses had a look of horror in their eyes as they looked at the powerful figure that no one could stop. It's Long Xuhuang, that terrifying dragon phoenix physique. Some of the geniuses screamed, their eyes trembling. This ancient dragon palace belongs to me. Whoever dares to take a step in will die. Long Xuhuang's tone was indifferent. He had dragon horns on his head and phoenix wings on his back. He was an invincible dragon phoenix physique that was jointly cultivated by Zulong and the Wanhuang Spirit Mountain. At this moment, Long Xuhuang looked at the ancient dragon palace with a scorching look in his eyes, as if victory was in his hands. After digesting the opportunities here, I can condense a wisp of immortal qi in my bloodline and become a little overlord. I've only been on the Emperor Road for a year, and I'm about to condense a wisp of immortal qi. Who can be stronger than me? Long Xuhuang's eyes were filled with strong confidence. This was his pride as an invincible dragon phoenix physique. He was also a peerless genius that was respected by two major Archean royalty. However, Long Xuhuang did not know that his home had been raided. It was like a spring that had been broken, and the wild was still wandering outside. But why do I have a faint feeling of uneasiness? Long Xuhuang frowned slightly. Previously, his eyelids had been twitching, as if something bad had happened. Forget it, I'll digest the opportunities here first. When I condense a wisp of immortal qi and become a little overlord, the Huangtian Mystic Realm's Emperor Road will not be able to stop me. My goal is to set foot on the ultimate ancient road. Long Xuhuang's eyes shone brightly. There were 9 Emperor Roads in the 9 Heavens Mystic Realm. But in the end, they would all converge. That was the legendary ultimate ancient road that the geniuses of the 9 Heavens Mystic Realm fought for supremacy. Chapter 523. On the Emperor Road, there were countless geniuses competing with each other. The competition on the Emperor Road in the Huangtian Mystic Realm alone was extremely intense. Geniuses began to emerge one after another, leaving their peers behind and making a name for themselves on the Emperor Road. For example, the invincible Dragon Phoenix body, Dragon Phoenix, controlled the power of the ancestral dragon and the divine phoenix. They had never been defeated on the Emperor Road. There was also the ancient freak of the 1,000 Phoenix Spirit Mountain, Huang Zhiyan, who cultivated the Phoenix Life Chant. Every time she was forced into a desperate situation, she would undergo nirvana and become even stronger. There were even rumors that if Huang Zhiyan underwent nirvana 9 times, she would achieve a qualitative transformation and her bloodline would be comparable to that of the ancient emperor's youngest son. The descendant of the ancient Crocodile Lake's crocodile ancestor was ferocious. He also condensed a strand of immortal qi and dominated the Emperor Road. There was also Jade Fozi of the Little Western Paradise, who had the Bodhi Buddha heart. It was said that he found the remains of an ancient monk on the Emperor Road and obtained a sarira. His cultivation level skyrocketed and his strength was unfathomable. The most terrifying thing was that geniuses who went against Jade Fozi usually didn't die. Instead, they would become Jade Fozi's believers. This was because Jade Fozi also mastered an extremely strange purification technique that could brainwash geniuses. Being converted by someone was even worse than being killed. It was also because of this that Jade Fozi was known as one of the geniuses who shouldn't be provoked on the Emperor Road. Of course, there was also Yi Guqin, the reincarnation of the sword demon of the Yi family. He was the first genius to break through to the Saint Realm on the Emperor Road. He killed countless enemies with the Emperor Slayer sword. It was said that Yi Guqin only attacked with one sword. One sword to kill. One sword to kill. Even top geniuses like Long Shuhuang and Jade Fozi didn't want to meet such a ferocious person before reaching the end of the Emperor Road in the Huangtian mystic realm. Some people even said that Yi Guqin could become the king of the Emperor Road. In addition to these geniuses, Jun family's Lord Grimm, Jun Lingsong, and others also made a name for themselves. There was also Jiang Shengyi, Jiang Luoli, Ji Qingyi, Xiao Maxian, and several other women. Similarly, they didn't lose out to the limelight of the men. All in all, the Emperor's Road in the Huangtian mystic realm was brilliant and exciting. It was not inferior to the Emperor's roads in the other 8 mystic realms. The only regrettable thing was, the son of God of the Jun family, who could have become the brightest sun, had not appeared in Emperor Road for more than a year. Many geniuses who had already set foot on the Emperor's Road believed that the son of God of the Jun family was done for. Due to the lack of information, they did not know what kind of miracle Jun Xiaoyao had created in the Huangtian mystic realm. On Emperor Road, intense battles continued to unfold. The atmosphere in the Huangtian mystic realm calmed down. After the immortal battle, the Huangtian mystic realm would be peaceful for a while. Many people were also wondering when the son of God of the Jun family would step onto the Imperial Road. If he stepped onto the Imperial Road, what would happen to the other geniuses on Emperor Road? It was worth noting that Jun Xiaoyao was known as the most powerful saint in history. The story of how he killed hundreds of sages with one cauldron was still a story that many cultivators in the Huangtian mystic realm talked about. Time passed while everyone was speculating. A month later, next to the 6 paths of reincarnation disc in the treasure vault of the demon sect of Samsara, Jun Xiaoyao's body trembled all of a sudden. The reincarnation divine qi, which was originally a little blurry, was completely condensed. The divine qi wrapped around Jun Xiaoyao's body like a huge dragon, carrying with it a mysterious will of reincarnation. It's done. Jun Xiaoyao let out a sigh of relief. The third divine qi was successfully condensed. If this reincarnation divine qi was added to Jun Xiaoyao's bone of supremacy and the 6 paths of reincarnation fist, their power would be enhanced qualitatively. I wonder how powerful 3 divine qi is in Emperor Road? Jun Xiaoyao guessed. However, he thought that 3 divine qi was not that powerful. Without at least 80 or 90 divine qi, one would be embarrassed to say that they were in Emperor Road. Master is too strong. Beside him, Wang Chuan, who was also cultivating, had a look of shock in his eyes. He was the sacred physique of reincarnation, but he had not cultivated a single divine qi. Jun Xiaoyao, on the other hand, had cultivated a single divine qi first. It could only be said that people could not be compared to each other. Seeing the shock in Wang Chuan's eyes, Jun Xiaoyao said calmly, "Don't compare yourself to me. Otherwise, your Taoist heart will be unstable." Yes. Wang Chuan calmed himself down. He did feel a sense of inferiority in his heart just now. He felt that even if he had the sacred physique of reincarnation, he was still a piece of trash. However, when he thought about it again, he realized that he had to be depressed to compare himself to Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao was a freak that only appeared once in a billion years. He was the biggest anomaly in the world. You should stay here and think of a way to cultivate a single divine qi before entering Emperor Road. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to pass the Emperor Road, Jun Xiaoyao suggested. Yes, Wang Chuan will obey. Wang Chuan nodded. Indeed, in a place like Emperor Road, one could die if they were not careful. Jun Xiaoyao could not take care of him all the time. Jun Xiaoyao nodded slightly and left the reincarnation demon sect's treasury. The 6 paths of reincarnation disc would be taken away by the imperial court later. Next, I need to inform the 18th ancestor and the others. After that, I can start on Emperor Road. By the way, the 18th ancestor should tell me about Father and the others, right? Jun Xiaoyao muttered to himself. Not long after, he returned to the Jun family. As soon as he stepped into the Jun family's mountain gate, Jun Zhantian came to him and asked him to look for the 18th ancestor. The Jun family's ancestral temple. The great ancestors who had awakened earlier were lying back in the ground. Jun Xiaoyao entered the ancestral temple and saw the 18th ancestor. Xiaoyao, you're here. Seeing Jun Xiaoyao's arrival, the 18th ancestor's face was full of smiles. 3 strands of divine qi? The 18th ancestor's eyes lit up. He could tell at a glance that Jun Xiaoyao had 3 strands of divine qi in his body. One should know that Jun Xiaoyao had not stepped into Emperor Road yet. As expected, I can't hide from the great ancestor's eyes. Jun Xiaoyao smiled. Haha, you have already cultivated 3 strands of divine qi before entering Emperor Road. Good. You are indeed the true dragon of the Jun family. The 18th ancestor laughed heartily. Jun Xiaoyao was the treasure of the Jun family. They were extremely proud of him. 3 strands of divine qi was enough to dominate Emperor Road. Great ancestor, about father. Jun Xiaoyao hesitated. The 18th ancestor said seriously, "That's right. You're an adult now and you've reached the sacred realm. There are some things that I should tell you. Xiaoyao, you should know that even though the 9 heavens immortal realm is vast, the universe is still huge apart from the 9 heavens immortal realm. Even though the 9 heavens immortal realm is prosperous, it is under threat all the time. No egg can remain unbroken when the nest is overturned. Even though the factions in the 9 heavens immortal realm have never stopped fighting each other, they will temporarily put down their weapons when a threat to the immortal realm appears. The foreign realm, the forbidden zone, the burial realm, and even the distant boundless ocean are all hiding great threats. And your father is a hero." The 18th ancestor's face was filled with astonishment as he said this. It was hard to imagine that the 18th ancestor of the Jun family, who held a high position, would have such a look of admiration. What did my father do? Jun Xiaoyao was confused. Chapter 524. The 18th ancestor sighed and said, "Your father's talent is exceptional. He is not much weaker than our ancestor, the heaven-abandoning great emperor. He even made a bold and visionary statement. There is no need to look for our ancestor. He will surpass him." And your father did not disappoint. He climbed all the way to the top and was considered one of the most outstanding figures of the Jun family in recent times. He once obtained a peerless skill by chance, the 3 pures with 1 breath. Later, when the mystic realm was in danger, your father used the 3 pure ones with 1 breath. He used 1 to suppress the burial realm, 1 to suppress the alien realm, and 1 to suppress the Sea of Realms to protect the peace of the mystic realm. He is a true hero. Even those forces who do not like the Jun family have to respectfully call the white-robed divine king a true hero when they mention Wu Hui. A touch of pride appeared in the 18th ancestor's eyes. Jun Xiaoyao heard this and sighed in his heart. It seemed that his father was indeed a great hero who was respected by tens of thousands of people. He thought of the words engraved on his father's amulet again. A gentleman has no regrets in his life. Although it was impossible for Jun Xiaoyao to become such a selfless hero, it did not stop him from respecting his father. The reason why I did not tell you this before was because I was afraid that you would have a knot in your heart and want to look for your father. After all, you were too young at that time. But now you have begun to grow. It will not be long before you have the ability to help your father, the 18th ancestor said. Jun Xiaoyao nodded slightly. He finally understood the familiar aura he felt in the depths of the burial realm. It should be one of Jun Wuhui's 3 pure ones with 1 breath. However, even if it was just a clone, it had the ability to seal the burial realm. From this, it could be seen how powerful Jun Wuhui was. The burial realm, the alien realm, and the Sea of Realms. In the future, Jun Xiaoyao, will definitely go to all of them. Jun Xiaoyao set a goal. When he achieved the Great Path, No, even if he only cultivated to become a supreme, Jun Xiaoyao had the ability to go to these places. He felt that with his current cultivation speed, that day would not be too far away. By the way, 18th ancestor, about the family. Jun Xiaoyao continued. When the 18th ancestor heard this, his face turned solemn. Xiaoyao, what do you think of my Jun family's strength? Strong, very strong, Jun Xiaoyao said. Even he, the son of God of the Jun family, didn't know much about the Jun family's background. The Battle of the Immortals had also revealed some of the Jun family's strength. However, just this bit of information was enough to shock all the undying powers. What if I told you that this is not the full strength of the Jun family? The 18th ancestor asked meaningfully. What? Jun Xiaoyao raised his eyebrows. The 18th ancestor was implying something. The 18th ancestor said in a faint tone, the Jun family as it is now is not the complete Jun family. A long time ago, the Jun family had the grand goal of dominating the Nine Heavens immortal realm, just like the Supreme Xian Ting that dominated the Nine Heavens immortal realm. However, there were some people who didn't agree with this idea. Those people thought that the Jun family should keep a low profile and develop quietly. They thought that if they showed off their abilities, they would only be targeted. Later, those people left the Jun family and formed the hidden branch of the Jun family, which became a hidden undying power. Jun Xiaoyao was rather baffled by what the 18th ancestor said. The Jun family was so powerful, yet it was not the complete version? How powerful is the hidden branch of the Jun family? Jun Xiaoyao asked tentatively. A little bit weaker than my own branch, the 18th ancestor said calmly. A little bit weaker? Jun Xiaoyao was secretly shocked. If those people hadn't left the Jun family back then, how powerful would the Jun family be now? They would probably become the new Supreme Xian Ting. The Supreme Xian Ting was a behemoth that once spanned across the Nine Heavens immortal realm. Even the undying forces didn't dare to provoke them. Only the Jun family and a few other undying forces didn't have to be afraid of the Supreme Xian Ting. The other undying forces had to lower their heads in front of the Supreme Xian Ting. However, this type of colossus, when the world was shaken up last time, when the other side invaded, it collapsed and broke apart. However, a starving camel was still bigger than a horse. The Supreme Xian Ting still had some remnants of its power. With the Jun family's strength, it was possible for them to replace the Supreme Xian Ting and become the dominator of the Nine Heavens immortal realm. The prerequisite was that the hidden branch of the Jun family could return. The hidden branch of the Jun family is a sore point for all of us. This Emperor Road is your chance to shine. If you can get the attention and support of the hidden branch of the Jun family, it might be a good opportunity for them to return. Of course, you might also encounter the geniuses of the hidden branch of the Jun family, the 18th ancestor said. Xiaoyao will remember this. Jun Xiaoyao nodded slightly. The 18th ancestor looked satisfied. He then briefly introduced the Emperor Road to Jun Xiaoyao. For example, there were 9 Emperor Roads in the Nine Heavens immortal realm. In the end, the 9 Emperor Roads would converge and form the ultimate ancient road. The geniuses who could set foot on the ultimate ancient road were undoubtedly the kings of their respective immortal realms. At the same time, each Emperor Road would give birth to an Emperor Road King. This Emperor Road King would also receive the blessings of the immortal realm he was in. The prerequisite was that this Emperor Road King could dominate the entire Emperor Road. King of the Emperor Road, huh? Jun Xiaoyao was baffled. Although he didn't really care about fame and titles. However, dominating the Emperor Road seemed to be something that was already set in stone. By the way, Xiaoyao, you seem to be interested in cultivating one of the 9 great heavenly books, right? The 18th ancestor asked. Jun Xiaoyao nodded. Jun Xiaoyao hadn't told anyone about the space book. If you enter the ultimate ancient road, you might encounter other heavenly book owners. After all, those who can set foot on the ultimate ancient road are all people with great luck. Every one of them has amazing talent and luck. Xiaoyao understands. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes lit up. He had long planned to collect the 9 great heavenly books. If he could really encounter a heavenly book owner on the ultimate ancient road, Jun Xiaoyao wouldn't miss it. After all, he was a professional in harvesting leeks. It wouldn't make sense if he didn't harvest the leeks of a heavenly book owner. Very well, I've told you everything I need to tell you. The rest is up to you, the 18th ancestor said. The rules of the Emperor Road forbade any outside forces or forces from interfering. However, the Jun family might have the ability to help Jun Xiaoyao in the Emperor Road. However, if they did that, the training would lose its effect. Xiaoyao understands. In the Emperor Road, I alone am enough to dominate everything. Jun Xiaoyao's tone was as calm as a breeze. However, there was no doubt about the domineering aura contained in it. He was the youngest and most powerful saint in history. He was also blessed with 3 strands of immortal qi. If Jun Xiaoyao didn't call himself a king, who would dare to call themselves the Emperor Road King?